Hey everyone, we'll be starting here in just a few minutes, just getting some last minute preparations complete. So thank you and sit tight.
Go mute.
No, no,
Yeah, I
no,
think we
no.
can introduce
Don't go mute
ourselves.
yet. We gotta say hello to everyone. Hello, people here watching for the season one listen party for Dose After You. We have some very special people in the stream today. Maybe a couple more joining later. You'll see 6 names, but there's only 4 of us, so we may have a couple drop-ins. I'm Tony. I'm the marketing director of Faustian Nonsense, and I would like to pass it over to David. David Orion, is it Pena?
Yeah, Pena. Yeah.
David Orion Pena. Take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm the creator and the main voice of this season, the voice actor for Deck. And well, I know like this show is this month 2 years old, which is like a lot.
Wow.
This is basically a pandemic baby, basically.
I feel like there's been a few of those in
um,
the network.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, no, I'm looking at Paul, I'm looking at Kay, more or less.
Yeah,
Like
I
maybe
think
it
my
wasn't exactly like a
yeah.
pandemic baby, but it was like a very big boom of now we have time, so we have
Yeah,
to make it.
exactly. Yeah,
And
yeah.
What
yeah,
do I do cooped up in this house all day?
Yeah, I don't have school
yeah.
anymore. I've got this free time, so let's make something. Yeah.
Like I'm unemployed and I'm still living with my parents. What should I do in my tiny bedroom? So yeah, like this is a I always say it's a horror drama, but it's like it's slow horror.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I will never say I don't know. It's not Scream or it doesn't have like jump scares anything like that because I'm more of another kind of horror guy. Like I don't know. Like I
Mm.
love Hereditary and Midsommar. Yeah, Midsommar. Like it
Oh my
has
god,
that
yeah.
kind of vibe. It's a slow. It's a strange. It's a little bit paranormal. It's a little bit of urban fantasy, and mostly it's very, very, very queer. So
Mm.
that's the takeaway.
That's awesome. So this will be my first experience listening through it all the way. I have listened to the first couple episodes, but I have not gotten to sit down and listen. And this is like, I'm very excited for this opportunity to experience it with you here and with
Mm.
Kai and Paul as well. And speaking of
Mm.
which, I would actually like to introduce our 2 other guests here right now. Kai, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Kai Gwilym Pritchard. I do Chain of Being, which is a sci-fi fantasy audio drama that was also recently had its 2-year anniversary. um, like we said, pandemic baby. Yeah, I think me and David have known each other for, I mean, quite a while. I think I can't pinpoint the exact time we actually met. To be honest, I don't remember how it happened, but we've been played D&D
You
together for a
DM
while.
me.
That
You
was it.
DM
Yeah.
me on Twitter. I remember that.
Yeah, and just a massive fan of Dos After You. I think it's very, it's just so unique, and I think there's just something extremely special about it, and that it's doing a lot very differently. And I think that it's a very necessary presence in audio drama. So I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Kai, you're too sweet. Um,
You are.
Paul, why don't you've also known these two for quite some
Hey.
time. So tell us a
Yeah.
bit about yourself and what you do.
I have. Hello, I'm Paul. I am the writer and creator of Green Horizon, and it's an Irish sci-fi comedy audio drama about an Irish crew in space. And yeah, I met David through Kai, and I do kind of feel like it's kind of been the three of us have kind of like come up together in a way. Like our shows all came out at the same time, and we're like, you know, Kai's Welsh and David's Spanish and I'm Irish, so we're all kind of come from kind of you know, like a very international trio of people. So you know, I kind of think we all have this kind of common respect for one another, and like, you know, as Kai said about David's work, I'm fascinated by it. I think it's fantastic. I think the writing, the writing is poetry. I think the thing is so unique,
Absolutely.
and I adore the fact that it's bilingual. I think that's
I'm gonna
just
blush.
absolutely fantastic. Like, I just,
You already are, buddy. You already are.
but it is. It's a wonderful piece. It's just a wonderful piece of fiction. I do, and it's getting. I can see it. It's getting the accolades. It's getting the support, and it's getting what it deserves. But I just think it deserves even more. I think more
Yeah.
people. The whole thing is absolutely wonderful, and I haven't listened to it in a while, and I am extremely excited because you know, I'm a father. I have a very busy life, but I was like, tonight it's just I'm sitting down and I'm binging this show, and I'm very excited about it. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I think without much further ado, we can probably go ahead and hop in the first block. We're going to be setting up the show today in 3 separate blocks. There are 21 episodes, and they are kind of naturally written in a way where every 7 episodes there's a kind of a little break in setting, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be a good chance for us to stretch, you know, hit the bathroom, get some more snacks and things like that. I would like to definitely pick your brain as the show goes on as well, maybe during the breaks of, you know, what your process was. But before we get to that, let's just go ahead and dive right in. We're going to listen to the first 7 episodes. This first episode is called Scam. I don't think the episode titles are set at the beginning, but it goes Scam, Gray, Patterns, Fear, Taurus, Type, and then 7 is not listed for me for some reason. But we are going to dive right in. So for those of you in the Discord call with me, make sure you are listening to where it says watch stream. Go ahead and mute yourself, and we'll get right to it.
Those after you. Everything changed after you. 5 months and 3 days here, and I choose today to hit the record button. I'm leaving today. Finally. There's so much I want to tell you, Seal. There are cars outside. Cars. I didn't miss those big metal caskets, you know. I never saw the appeal of a machine that can get you killed so easily. Yes, you can run over someone and murder them, but with the street cameras and license plates, it's meant to be a messy job. No thanks. And yes, before you ask yourself, I can drive and I have a license, but I'd rather threaten someone to drive me around before sitting behind a steering wheel. My bike's waiting for me outside. I have everything I need. I'm leaving today. I'm leaving today.
But I could use the time and tell you more about me. After all, you have only seen me at my worst and my best, but no in between, no real dick. I've always believed that all those romantic stories where you just meet that special someone and the world just changes are just another capitalist scam. Have everyone busy looking for the other half, their soulmate, or whatever you want to call it, and no one will pay attention to what's important. Things like the governments, the climate change, the bodies floating in the canals at 3 a.m. The worst part is that it works. It truly works. But no, what's worse is that now I'm one of them, Seal. I'm in the scam now. But our story is not one meant for Facebook walls or Twitter threads or big budget Yankee Hollywood movies. In fact, if we were to be a movie, it'd be French. You know, slow, not much dialogue, lots of intense staring. And in a movie, this will be the first scene. But no one in their right mind would start a movie with the confession I have for you. I wished I never met you. I used to be someone before knowing you, and now I'm just picking up the pieces. Maybe I can figure myself out in this trip. You know, that's what road trips are for, aren't they? And I can understand who I am without talking about you, Seal. This way, when I find you, you'll have records of all the times I thought of you. Isn't that romantic? Seal, I can't wait to kill you. The last time I saw you, you were riding on the most pathetic bike I've ever seen. I stood there, on the rooftop, thinking about how it'd be to see you again in London in 2 weeks. But after the photographs, the kisses, and the silence inside your ribcage, I lost count of the nights I lied awake wondering if it had all been real. If you even had a body. If it had been nothing but a delicate illusion my mind had created. It wouldn't be the first time that reality's edges went blurry after a kill. I had my revenge, you know. And the world didn't matter anymore. We were square. But I guess there's nothing more millennial than living through another world crisis. 5 months inside my childhood memories, with a stained carpet as a constant reminder of the price one must pay to make your dreams come true. You know, Seal, it's really easy to kill someone. Is murder a better word? Murder goes farther than killing. Killing is the act itself, the relief one feels in their stomach and tongue when there is no more force. No more energy but a brain that slowly shuts down, or a heart that has no blood left to pump. But murder requires planning. It's a composition. It needs a tempo, an arc, a history. The problem with murder is that it leaves a to-do list. Bleach, stains, decay, bone splinters one may inhale if not careful. Don't get me wrong, I would have done a worse job if it hadn't been for the isolation. It took me the first month just to check if all the neighbors that used to know me still lived here. You know, I was able to deceive my Frau Fischer to her face. She had been my babysitter for years. Yet, with the face mask and my actual voice, I pretended I was a distant Spanish relative. Bless him for that. If it had been up to him, I never would have learned Spanish. Murder is like lying. If you have to improvise, chances are you're gonna end up cleaning a big mess. I like to say there's no room for improvisation when it comes to you, but we both know I'll be lying. I spent weeks soundproofing the attic, cleaning and rearranging electric saws, and then dozens of hours cutting down bones, cleaning dried blood and pulling apart half-frozen muscles. And all I will have left was a memory of you. I will go outside on the roof with my legs kicking in the air and a book I'll never read on my thighs, trying to summon you again. 5 months. 5 months of waiting. Yeah, sure. The borders have been open since June, but I couldn't make any stupid moves. Better to wait a little, I thought. And I'm sure by now people have relaxed just enough. First stop, Brussels. I know the chances of you being in the UK are low, but it's the only starting point you've given me. I used to come here to run years ago. I always liked this small part of Amsterdam, this long, vast road, where every day I will find different ships, yet the same faces. No matter the weather, I will run every day before dinner. I like to run until I got a stitch, until my lungs couldn't take it anymore and my mouth tasted like iron. It was a small reminder that I was alive, that I carried on. Lethargy doesn't work for me, Seal. No. No, it didn't work for me then, before you. You have liked me, dressed in grey sport clothes, under a grey sky, and with a grey heart, just like you. I don't like this, Seal, the improvising. You're watching me. You must be watching me. Why haven't you said anything? Do you even... Never mind. We like labels, categories. To make life easier, we need patterns to make sense of an otherwise chaotic world that festers upon us. The world is less uncanny when it has colorful tags that describe what's behind us, what can lie ahead. Life was messy when I didn't have the right words, you know. But I could see myself how I was supposed to be, how I truly am. I have always been like this. I just got tired of hiding. You can't relate to that, can you? Sometimes I wonder what labels you carry. What kind of fire you leave behind. If I will ever see the scorched earth that stays once you're done. I have my labels, and some are useful. European, half Spanish, half Dutch, transgender, trilingual, delinquent, murderer, bisexual. Is there one for hating tea? Probably someone coined it on the internet. The thing is, there weren't any labels for you, not even to categorize your skin, your eye color, your height, or your voice. I remember every sensation, the taste of your sweat, the flesh of your thighs, and how full your lips were. You were soft, but I am all edges. Well, now I think of it, I have one for you. God. You must hate that one. Seal the God. How can you hate it? If I were you, I walk this earth like I own it. Because that's the truth, Seal. You own us. You have a power that no one has. Is that? Are you scared? Because if that's what this is, if that's your reason, I don't know what I'm going to do when I see you. Well, I do. And I'll be right to do it. I have another one for you. Heartless. For real, you know. No heartbeat inside you to match my own. No ticking bomb that will die when I squeeze your vocal cords. I always end up digressing about this stuff when I'm at the bus station. Tess used to say that's because I'm a liminal space made flesh. Does that make me a manic pixie dream boy? Maybe I exist in the in-between, and I've become a buzz after so many rides. When she first said this to me, I used my job as an excuse. That I had assignments all over Europe, that I couldn't grow fond of a city, a neighborhood or a street, because if I show up there long enough, people will recognize me, and it'd be hard to be traceless. I know Tess was right, but I'm not gonna tell her that. She thinks I don't miss simpler times. Back when we were living in ADM and all I did was sell overpriced pills to college students. Chaos back then was different. I didn't have many labels, but life was more orderly. Neat. It's easier when you work behind a screen and you don't have to move in and out every 2 or 3 weeks. Well, it's not like I have a job anymore. Since that night, word got around that I was dead. Can a liminal space believe in something? Can it even die? Maybe I've become invincible since UCL. Maybe even immortal. Nah. I'm pretty sure I still bleed if cut. But it'd be nice to believe in something for a change. To give this chaos in for something greater. Something more spiritual. You're a god. If I prayed to you, would you like it? Is that what I need to do to see you again? It wouldn't be the first time that I'm on my knees for the interest. Mom disappeared 2 days after my birthday. I was only 10, and we didn't know where she could be. She didn't even leave a note. A suitcase and half her wardrobe were missing, but for some reason, she had left all her shoes behind. That was the first day I ever felt scared. The second one was a surprise. I was going out with my friend Sunny, to grab some ice cream, when he called me from the living room. The only light on was the TVs, and I could see my reflection in the green beer bottle he was holding. It was somehow sacred. I could see my face in his, the high cheeks, with the ears carved into rough skin. Eye bags as deep and violet as the bruises I had in my knees and thighs. His voice was coarse and low, usually, but then he yelled, "How the hell are you going out like that? Dressed like a bloody girl for once." I allowed it all because I had the answer close to the tip of my tongue, and fear tasted sweet. Like the cinnamon aftertaste of a good apple pie. I changed clothes because I already knew the sound a bottle makes when it breaks, and all I cared about was the ice cream. The third time, I had honey on my lips, a broken eyebrow, and a duffel bag on the floor next to the main door. There were mud stains on the blue carpet, and I had just oiled my bike. There was no green inside, but his eyes looked red under the sun that was slowly leaving. I talked for 15 minutes, hardly breathing. with a hand inside my pocket, just where I kept a knife my ex-girlfriend had given me. When he stood up, I saw him the blade, and the TV's color shone upon it, filling the space between our bodies. I was no longer his. I wanted to ask about the shoes, but I was afraid of being right, of just losing it if he spoke out loud. That night was the first of many I'd spent on other people's sofas. The fourth time I was afraid was in that very same old house, 12 years after. Well, last February. The reason was, yes, it was different, but some of Mom's books had crashed onto the floor, open wide, and the whole house was trembling. I forgot how to breathe as I wondered how I was supposed to clean the bloodstains out of those old, yellowy pages. There's something in the bass seal. I can see it. Translucent, like it's glitching. It's not the first one I've seen, but it doesn't feel like what I saw at the station in Sloterdijk. Seal, what have you done? The phone's clock is broken. I mean, how is it even possible? It's frozen. It was alright this morning. The rest of the apps are working just fine, so it's still recording. Good. You know what I need right now, Seal? Fridges met currysaus. Some places are still shut down. I heard they had a lot of bad cases here. But I'll kill right now for some fries with curry ketchup. Belgians keep saying the fries are theirs, like someone could own the way a potato is fried, declaring the rest of the nicks a heresy. But they already have the waffles empire. People visit the Netherlands for fries. You only come to Brussels if you're someone in the EU, or you want to be disappointed at the mannequin piece. There aren't many tourists. I miss them. Back home, the hostel a few blocks away used to be full of them. 20-somethings looking for some weed, fun at the beach in Bloemendaal, usually with a terrible taste in music and tobacco brands. Sitting ducks. You had to pick the ones with lonely eyes, carrying duffel bags and a craving for fries. Yeah, I'm serious about the fries. You know, the first time that I killed somebody, just bought me some fries, but they had run out of curry ketchup. I think I ordered salsa brava, but none tasted like Mom's. But yeah, his name was Bram. He was one of Tess' exes, and he just came to bother us one night. We were just throwing some stones not far from the eye. Margot and Dylan ran as soon as they saw he was carrying a blade. It was sort of a cheap flea market machete. I don't even know how he'll hit it on himself. But well, they ran away, calling the police. Like they will help or anything. They didn't leave at 8 AM, you see. They were rich kids from the city center that wanted to taste the hippie life they thought we had. So there we were, Bram, Tess and I, surrounded by the half-built buildings and water that at night didn't look greenish, but black. It comforted me infinitely. The dark waves, the rustle of the boats crossing by. It must have been September because I remember distant music. The kind they have for Erasmus parties that were so easy to sneak in, and always a good deal for some quick cash. Bram was tall, but all of them are. All of them are tall and have dimples when they hold a cheap machete. I can't remember how I took it from him, but I still can feel the cold water around my hands. Tess didn't scream, and I realized then we would always be friends. I also realized that it is easier to drum someone when you've cut their throat beforehand, and that even on a moonless night, you can see how blood dilutes and travels through salt and waves. Can seaweed be dyed red? He thrashed around until his last breath, and it took so long. Tess texted Margot and we were left alone as we piled up some bricks, before breaking the wood planks that served as dikes, keeping the sand of the artificial island away from the water. But full, a mindless drunk. Tess learned to have better taste. It's hard to believe in these times, don't you think? To believe in her, to believe in you. A part of me wants to. But I only have this blood and a broken watch. I don't feel like a hostel tonight. There's always a pervert waiting at a pub, ready to buy you a few rounds before inviting you over to his place, where you can open him up nicely. Yeah. Wait. Feritland. Finally. I don't think he can hear me. You know, the cat. But man, he should be able to smell the blood from here. I do. Hey, you're a champion, aren't you? Yeah, champ. I'm gonna leave you enough food tomorrow. I counted 6 tonight, Seal. Something's not right, and I know in my gut it has to do with you. I know you're listening. You must know what I'm doing, where I am. You're God, after all. Whoa. I slept with a god. Definitely better than the sad spectacle that's still warm in the bathtub. At least I had some fun with the knives. He wasn't even my type. I like to call them shadows, but there are better names already on the internet and some newspapers. And some are clearer than others, as if they were made of glass, each with their own density. But there are at least 2 that are different, Seal. The same way you smell of wax and honey, there's one that turns everything around them before I can see them out of the corner of my eye. They smell like the static charge before a storm, but there's something off about it too. Foul. The other one waits. Dim and thick as incense, they bring the sea with them. I can smell the beach at The Hague, just next to that old Ferris wheel on a winter evening. But the cold gets between my bones and feels like the grey marble columns in Behind the stained glass in St. Bavo. further than Christianity even, because I had the same glow Fatima used to have after she prayed in her room. The first shadow, the false one, I've seen them twice, but the second one, I saw them today as clear as day, looking at me through the fog that somehow emanated from the Palace of Justice, just next to the Ferris wheel. What do Ferris wheels have in common with incense? With the taste of wine on the tip of my tongue. The countries here in North Europe are sad, Seal. Incredibly sad. There are only clouds and dry, stoic buildings in grey and cream, surrounded by statues that are alone due to the sea. Life doesn't grow here because we have stolen it all. There's no sun, no blue sky that can shine any summer, winter, autumn or spring day. It's a punishment, one we deserve. And still, all I can think about right now is praying. Unbelievable. Hey, psst, psst, kitty. Kitty. Maybe he can't hear me. I think he can smell it. But he doesn't want to acknowledge what it would mean. He's lost, with no one to take care of him from tomorrow on. Someone that could offer him more conversation than a corpse. He just needs something new, a new toy. Someone that can hold his gaze, that he can touch without burning his fingertips. Someone that will stop running just to come back to him, where he has waited months for any kind of sign and... Good night, Seal. Good night. It hurts. I know the ocean is close. I can hear it. But all I can see is this cloak. It is rough, black slate, warm. It is all I can see in any direction. Right, left, up, down. It covers this sober time, ever present. It hurts. I blink. It is cold under my feet. I'm on a grey stone, covered in small constellations made of black, white, and the shadows in between. It is a rock I can imagine by a riverside in the mountains, surrounded by nettles and small animals. But nothing is alive here, just the stone rising, becoming an altar. There's a cloth over it, soft yet tough, like leather. Yes, leather. It's black and white, as the stars underneath my feet, and a fine line divides its color. On it, the first object I see is a book. I know it's old, and it casts a small yet twinkling light. It smells like incense, and the symbol carved on the cover is... It says I've seen it before. but I don't recognize it. It is important. Sacred. Yes, sacred. If I open it, I'll glimpse the infinite, the elevated. If I open it, it will answer all my questions. Close to the book, there's a violet hyacinth growing in the stone, elegant and tall. It's surrounded by a deep sorrow, by regret. If I touch it, it will wither. If I caress the soft petals, it will die. The earth will cry blood, transparent and pure, so full of life. A box. It is a relic with intricate patterns that twist and change with every swirl, every angle, every... It's cold, hostile, the kind of cold that chills your bones, that scars your ribs. The book twinkled, but this vibrates with the force of a storm. There's something sour in the air. If I open it, I do not know. I don't know. I feel the void looking back at me, but stop. It hurts. There is something else. It's not on the line, but on the white side of the leather. I thought it was a simple cup, but it's melting, and its perfume is familiar. It smells of wax, of blood. I walk around the altar. I need to see what's inside. If I lift it, I will drown. I look back at the rest of the objects, and I can hear the voices inside me, inside my chest, my head, my stomach. Read me, touch me, lean in. When I stare at the cup, there is just silence. When I wrap my hands around it, I expect the wax to burn me, but it is lukewarm, it's pleasant. I lift it, and I drink it. Drink, drink, drink.
All
Fucking
right.
hell.
Holy shit, that's intense.
Ah.
That's why there's a cut there. Yeah, I
Like, I think I originally listened, I think, to up to the second episode, but the third episode is where it's like it really sets the tone in a much more in a much more serious way. Like, oh, well, I do have one word for you, God. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that line hit like really particularly hard for me. And it kind of really, and then like, can a liminal space believe in something? Can it even die? Like, I love that line too.
I am a liminal space made flesh.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Space Mate.
Maybe I
that
become
one.
something
The first time I
invincible.
listened, that was the one. That was
I
the
took
that was the
notes.
line that stuck out for me.
What were you doing?
I took notes. I was writing notes about like thoughts I had as we were listening. Do you want me to go through them? Because
Yeah, I've got some
Anyway,
fun ones
yeah.
too.
this is my third listen through because I listened day before yesterday all the way through. Though I was playing a video game at the same time, so I wasn't properly like focusing on it. But I think this opportunity I think is, but basically, as unsurprisingly, I'm going to talk about the sound because I think you've done it in such a way that it is very subtle, but it's very effective. I think what is being conveyed of like what I've written is like the focus is on the words, which is like I mean, it's what it's about, and I think it's so incredible, like the writing and the fact that your performance of it is very quite like your voice is perfect. Like it's so good for the way. I mean, obviously because it's your voice that you've written in, because it's like this. It doesn't have this like harshness that could otherwise make it feel less unsettling. Like he's a murderer, like he's horrible, but like the fact that you're speaking like this is just like a diary entry, I think is this really incredible juxtaposition of like, oh fucking hell. And then also the fact that when there's these memories that like of remembering things of Deck's past, it's like the soundscape of where Deck is physically at the moment still persists, and it kind of recreates this effect of like when you're remembering something yourself, you kind of block out the rest of the world. And I found myself blocking out the soundscapes while I was imagining these memories, and so it was like, oh shit, you really are in like Deck's shoes. It's incredible. It's like such a good job. And the writing is obviously incredible, and that dream sequence in that episode 7 is like, I'm gonna start for a dream sequence, and the fucking symbolism and the imagery is just
I mean, it really
fucking
does.
incredible.
To go along with
I'm
what you're
basically
saying.
telling everything. Like I'm telling everything in episode 7, and you don't even know it.
Well, I mean, that's one really interesting thing about like the show is like at first I'm like, okay, it's someone with like psychotic breaks. It's like a sociopath. It's like someone, and then you go into like, I have one word for you, God, and then there's like these visions and these shadows, and you're like, oh, something supernatural maybe is happening here. So like maybe they're like, maybe Deck is like possessed or being influenced by demons, and then as you get to like 6 and 7, you're like, maybe these are all just like, maybe it's just like in his head. Like I haven't decided, is this supernatural or is this psychological or is it both? Like that's what I love about this. I have no fucking idea what's about to happen.
The fact that you're questioning it, I think, is just a testament to how good it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Obviously, I've listened to all of it, so but like
What's coming. Yeah.
But like I think it's a mark of a good piece of writing, where you can sort of have that question. But sorry, Paul.
Absolutely, but like sorry, I was just saying the scenes are they're brutal, and it's like what Kai said. If you were to come at this, and if you were to do like a creepy voice or something, it wouldn't work. It's coming out of this very soft, very well spoken, very gentle spoken voice, talking about drowning a fella. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like even the fact that you're talking about what Deck's thinking about as they're drowning this guy. Oh, I wonder, does seaweed get dyed by the blood? And it's just,
I wrote
it's
that
incredible.
down
too. And it makes me very scared to be a friend now, David, because I'm like, how could you think of that? And not be. Maybe you are. Maybe you are.
This is all a secret confession.
Yeah, I had some written here
it's
that's like,
so good.
first off, David, what the fuck is like one of my first comments, and that's like that's high praise. That's very high praise.
The fact that I'm a psychologist, it only makes it better.
Oh, that is terrifying. I love it. So you studied psychology, so you like to dive into the human psyche. That makes. You know what? That was one of the things I wanted to talk about, and maybe we'll touch a bit later, is kind of your inspiration, either like inspirations that, like going into the show, inspirations that you use specifically for the show. Like I want to talk about this probably during the next break, but like, what really like makes you tick, and what do you enjoy listening to that kind of help you build this? It's
I
so
also
good.
have a question about the characterization of Deck as well, but I wonder if that should come maybe even at the end, because that's when we all get the full
because
exploration.
Maybe at the end, because I really like the end, because it's something you wouldn't expect of what you've seen since the beginning. It's a whole arc. I don't know about inspirations. I mean, there's a big main one, which is Hannibal by Brian Fuller, like the NVC. So I'm obsessed with that show. I've watched it. I think my last rewatch, it's the 13th. Like I know the show by heart.
Wow.
Yeah. Like if I watch it, I will just say the lines alone. Like my boyfriend knows Monsters University by heart, and I know Hannibal by heart.
I was gonna say, my brother knows Toy Story, and you know fucking Hannibal.
Two
Yeah.
sort of pieces of media that couldn't be further apart, I think.
It is. Yeah. I was really inspired to in the beginning. Also with Killing Eve. I will pretend that the last season didn't happen because I really didn't. I really don't like what they did with the show. The beginning was kind of similar, you know. I mean, both shows you have like a murderous. I would not say psychopath because I mean, obviously there's something kind of, I wouldn't say wrong. Like just Dex just thinks differently. It's just like he's just so used to death. It's so natural to him that it's not even. I
There's
don't know,
a
like
there's a speech later on about the word psychopath, isn't there?
yeah. I
Doesn't
think
Deck
so,
go
yeah, I
into
think
it?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Dexter, David?
What?
You watched Dexter?
Oh, fuck yes. It was. I watched it like really young. Like it's also one of my favorite shows, and it's so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, I
You
love
like the-
Criminal Minds.
the meat-
I
Yeah.
look like procedural serial killer kind of things.
Criminal
Like
Minds was good.
you can
Yeah.
see that. You can really.
Yeah,
relate.
like never seen Hannibal, but Dex Musings is very similar to say Dexter's. Dexter would do the same thing. Like he'd go through an episode, and in his mind, then he'd basically be doing exactly like what Dex is doing, kind of like pondering himself, pondering life, pondering like the morality of what he's doing. And
Yeah.
he's very like it's very different, but yeah, at the same time quite similar. I just thought it was. I'm very excited to continue on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's that
I'm
morality.
really. Oh yeah.
So specifically how it reminds me of like Dexter, and like the kindness towards like animals, right? Like Dex was
Yeah.
very good to like the
thought
cat and
that,
things
yeah.
like that. And Dexter in the show, I remember specifically the way he treated his sister was with such kindness. He didn't feel anything for his sister because he was incapable, but he knew he should take care of her because that's what you do as a good brother. And so there's that like weird morality shift of like knowing intellectually what's right but not really understanding emotionally what is right.
I think it is different, at least with Deck though, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single person that has been, or that we know has been killed, has not been good and has been a direct threat to Deck's like safety and life, right? Like,
Kinda. I mean, yeah.
Kind-
Most of
right,
the
okay, yeah.
time, either it was a threat to him or someone he cared about, or it was a pay job.
sure,
So,
but yeah.
But that's also kind of how Dexter is too, because Dexter only killed
Okay.
those
yeah.
he found to be bad people by some
Sure.
definition, by some code he's built.
Yeah.
The
So he's like
morality,
a kind of a
Like,
lawful evil in a way, like 'cause he killed only people that deserved it under some sort of guide. So there is like this cool establishment of a moral code between like Deck also, kind of has that. It's very interesting.
It's
So
kind of
what's-
interesting
Oh, yeah.
because for decades, like he actually cares. He actually like he's capable of love. He's just like he just feels he's so twisted. He cannot have what other people have, and because life has treated him, he just like at some point he learned he was good at killing people, and he didn't feel bad at killing people. So he would just went like. I might do this as a living. I mean, I'm not good at anything else. I couldn't study anything. I have to pay for stuff, like testosterone because he's transgender, and fucking pay rent. And he's just like, well, may just kill people. I mean, I'm not doing anything differently that a CEO right now is doing. So
Yeah.
in his
Fascinating.
mind, it's just like, yeah, I'm just like at the base, like I'm doing the same as other people are doing, but in the shadows. So may as well do it.
That's
I
very
think that's where
fascinating.
Dexter and Deck differ then, because in Dexter he was driven. He had a homicidal addiction essentially. He couldn't stop himself. So as they said, like, he was a loaded gun. So he had to point himself at criminals and people who deserve justice. He wouldn't kill the innocent. Whereas for Deck feels like this is all I can do. So it's not an urge as much as it is a I'm good at it, so I might as well get paid for it.
Like in the sixth episode, like he basically just just goes like, I don't want a hostel tonight, so I'm just gonna like try to flirt with probably someone who will hurt anyone else. Like when he does that, it's just like, okay, I need a place to like spend the night. Maybe a quick fuck. If it's good, maybe he'll leave, maybe he won't. And it's just like, okay, this was like really, really awful man. This was a really, really awful fuck. I'm killing you. That's it. Like that's his whole process. It's just like, I got the fries. I got the place to stay the night. There's a really nice kitten. Yeah, I killed
Yeah.
someone and I left it in the bathtub. That's for tomorrow. I'm not even gonna like worry about that.
Priorities.
Yeah,
Do you-
priority.
Do you think that if Deck met with, say, Adam from my show or from any of the crew of the Green Horizon, I imagine how that interaction would go. I think it would be a full. I couldn't imagine a quick interaction between Adam and Deck. I think it would have to be like a full kind of like back and forth. I don't think they would be passing by, because I think that, I don't know. Yeah, I sometimes think about that. I wonder what about the crew of the Green. It feels like the Green Horizon and DOS After You are so like, I can't imagine how that would go down really. But
I feel
Yeah.
like Rebecca
Probably-
and Deck would just like try to kill each other.
Oh, they get on. They get on so well. They would get on so
Oh, yeah, maybe.
She'd,
Yeah,
she'd be asking. She'd be asking for tips. She'd be like,
Yeah.
"What's the best way to throttle someone in their sleep? How do I do? What's the fulcrum? How do I get the? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty small, so
What's the quickest
how do I get the
way to
best?
let them bleed out? Like,
yeah,
I'm really I really awful with the names because it's been a while since I listened, but I think you will really appreciate the paintings of the character you made.
Sure.
I was, yeah,
Sure.
like Peter.
Oh,
Peter,
they'll get
yeah,
on.
like-
They will get on.
yeah,
They
like, he will
do-
be like, this is a kind soul, and he makes really interesting art. I like you, man. And then I would
Yeah.
like, instead of maybe hitting on Bernie, he will hit on. Come on, I can't believe I fucking forgot his name because he's my favorite character. You know who I'm talking about? The captain.
Gino.
Gino.
Gino. He will crush on Gino. Yeah.
I mean,
It's like-
who wouldn't crush on Gino, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I mean, Paul knows that I'm crushing her on Gino, and I see Deck doing the same. Like, yeah. This looks like an awful man. I like him.
Gino's
Excellent.
not awful. He's
No,
just
it's not
very
awful.
close to awful. You know.
He's,
He's
toes that line.
misunderstood. No.
Misunderstood.
Yeah.
Redemption for him somewhere.
Yeah.
Do we want to take a quick 5 minutes and
gonna
then
do
jump
perfect.
back
Yeah.
in? All right,
Yeah.
sounds
That's
good.
Be back in a minute.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back. So hang tight. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. A little longer than 5 minutes. Luckily, my internet went down during the break, so we reset the internet, came back on, and everything should be okay now. I will let everyone know. Reload the page if it's not working. Let everyone know to reload the page, which might help if there was a stream lag. So we're gonna actually hop right into the next block of 7 episodes. Episode 8 is called Piety, followed by Fractals, Honey, Names, Wax, Wind, and Nature. We'll stop at after episode 14 and have another little chat time. So for all of us in the stream, let's go ahead and mute and start it. Is it still sharing my screen?
It's buffering for me.
Okay, let me. Ooh, okay, good. I'm glad I asked before I jumped back in. And
Green for me too.
okay, I should be sharing again.
Oh.
It's
Now, yeah.
okay. There we go. Still can see it. Okay, good. All right, we're gonna hop in.
Picture you're asleep, only to wake up with your throat filled with salt water. I didn't record the last audio seal. I dreamed it. I know I dreamed it. They were there when I opened my eyes, in the corner of the room, and it felt like stepping inside a church on a funeral day. They didn't talk. I know they didn't because the air somehow vibrated, softly, saying, believe. Their eyes were closed and they were dressed in white, their dark skin black like marble, with golden seams. My first thought was to consider that's what looking at a saint, at the Virgin or a prophet must feel like. A placid smile, their hands extended, welcoming. I didn't doubt. Have you ever tried to touch smoke? You can feel a caress through your fingers, but you can't really connect with it. You can't really reduce your atoms in a way that lets you feel the push. That's how it felt, to touch them, to listen to them. They opened their palms and trapped my hands with their fingers, nails digging into my flesh. I didn't register the pain until something warm trickled down my wrist. I couldn't stop looking at their face. The ocean and incense surrounded us, and I heard inside my head my own voice, yet words that were not mine. You seek, but not for me. My siblings and I are following, and I am the first to sense the honey between your ribs. You should not be here. You should not long for him. I am the first, but others are on their way. There is blood on your hands, a trail of names you carry. If you continue down this path, you will wake with petals down your throat in a room filled with thunder and shadows. I will not be the one to stop this devotion, this love you resent, this nature you embrace, this chaos you sow. Fear our mothers. Fear my siblings. Fear the dead who already walk among you. What I am, you cannot reach. What I am needs but names and pantheons, animal heads and human voices your comprehension can assimilate as an existence. You do not seek faith. Do not cloak your intentions with false spirituality, because it is too late for any kind of forgiveness. But I warned you, what you hand for, not even my brother can bestow. They cried. They cried with a stoic and distant calmness, up on a pedestal I knew I will never be allowed to reach. Their words were a prayer, but there was soreness in them too. I blinked, our hands still tied, and they disappeared. I was left with a strange feeling inside, a moving rage, the roar of the waves echoing through my body, my flesh tight, ready for the blow before letting go, before going with the current. The last time I cried was the night before the second time we met, Seal. I couldn't clean the blood of those yellow pages. I felt like Frankenstein's creation, there where I had been born. Blood still warm on my hands and justice on my side, yet conscious that, in the end, I have made a choice. Maybe it's that. It wasn't in your nature to choose. Not until you started running. Oysters and champagne by the Gravestain Castle. I must say, I might not like Brussels, but Kent? I could see myself here for a few months. Never had a job here that would excuse a visit, but it's never too late. No, it sadly is. I dreamed of you again. It was a sign because tickets to Paris finally stopped costing half a kidney. This pandemic has got us all over the place. I don't understand how people still believe capitalism works when the whole system collapsed, when people had to isolate at home for more than 2 months. And don't get me started on countries like the USA. Tess must be worried sick. She has so many friends there. I'm glad she didn't move in there. Edinburgh was the smartest option. They landed free. You gotta laugh. All the countries that put the economy before the people should rot in hell. The USA, the UK, Brazil. They even make me look like a nice person and I kill people for a living. I just talked to one, moments ago. One of the shadows. They've been calling them tulls, these ones, because at first you don't even notice the difference. She asked for a lighter, her black round eyes framed in a warm brown skin. She had a nice accent behind a blue face mask and I answered her in Spanish. Her eyes smiled. But when I gave her the lighter, her fingers touched mine and it was like Faye for a second. Different density and then just corporeal again. She got all tense and I was probably too obvious. But there was something familiar. And what was I gonna do? I'll never call the cops on someone alive, let alone a shadow. So I just went on with it and asked for Zeke and her name. She gave me both. Nanda. She was dead, Seal. But she was so there. Are we all small images of you? I was meant to be one of them, another fractal. When I pulled on my mask to smoke, I noticed it. She smelled of orange trees, but also of wax. Faye confirmed what I already knew, that you had left some of you in me. It's funny, you know. Want to know how my mom and I used to talk? Through books. She was often busy and if she had to be out for dinner, she always left a book on the kitchen counter, next to a note with ideas for the meal. Every Cinder class, she got me the same book, a different adaptation or edition, but same title, same author, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And now here I am, surrounded by walks after a glass of champagne, talking to my own Victor Frankenstein. But Aren't you another monster? I remembered your exact words on the rooftop that day. You called yourself a bastard. But aren't we all, Victor? Aren't we all? There's a before you and after you in my life. Before, there had been a means to an end, an outlet for all the energy that buzzed inside my lungs. I knew what to expect of violence, of deceit, and although hard, it was easy to live without trusting hardly anything or anyone. I gave as much as I expected to receive, always with a polite smile on my face. Until there wasn't. After ADM, after the first jobs in Swole and Arnhem, the good came slowly. Cash, expensive clothes, champagne. Just got an attic in The Hague, and I wrote her from Moscow, Prague, Mykonos. Blood, gun silencers, and a plate collection. It's what I left behind in the safe house in Dresden. That's when the debts came. Test rehab was expensive, and the bullet that almost burst my stomach was too. I was dealing in between jobs, just for a while. I was better at that than wearing tuxedos and smiling at men the same age as my father. It was a cold, moonless night. The kind that you can only find in January in Rotterdam. The job was meant to be an easy one, in a club not far from the harbor. That was when we met for the first time. The worst part is that I don't remember the reason behind the beating. Probably a rich kid with a bad badge and a happy client. With all the money I owed and a silly breakup I had gone through recently, I was stalling, and it made me so reckless. Yet it was 5-1, and I could see they were scared. I could have made it out with 3, maybe 4, if I hadn't drunk that much. But 5, no way. But that didn't stop me from trying. Well, you saw the rest. Punctured lung, lots of blood on the pavement, 4 ribs and my nose broken, a black eye, and an echo going through the bones of my left shoulder. They left me there to die, and I even felt grateful about them not going further. I managed to sit up, with my back against the black brick wall. It was only a matter of time. What? Are those pedals? I like the pavement here. At least here near Montmartre, the dark stones are arranged in semicircles, adding up on each other like small waves. I won't lie, Sil, I'm not a big fan of the French. Never been good with the language, and that can be a pain sometimes here. Makes it difficult to move. There are exceptions, of course. Brittany is incredible. Bordeaux, Toulouse. But Paris smells like any other capital, a mix of cockiness and individualism. There's pride in the anonymity big capitals have. It's easier to work in them, I'll give you that. Less witnesses that care about what you're doing, and more queer pubs to spend nice nights after a job well done. Social media won, and we're now calling them animas. Even with the whole pandemic and the new outbreaks, we have realized one thing. They can be labeled. Remember I told you some of them glitch? You can see through others, as if they were holograms from any generic sci-fi movie. And then you have the ones like Nanda. You can't know until you touch them. Yet they keep being so corporeal. 3 types, and the names that are catching on are see-throughs, blinkers, and elves. Keeping things simple, life is already way too complex. Blinkers glitch the most, as if they forgot they are. There's a couple there, by the merry-go-round. They are too young. She can't be older than 13, with her 2 high ponytails and yellow overalls over her dark skin. I can see the pavement through her. The other must be her brother. He has short dreadlocks that fall on his face. And now that I think of it, they dress very early 2000s MTV, you know? You probably don't know what I'm talking about. He blinks less than her, and has a cotton candy in each hand. People avoid them. Look at them. Watching them makes me wonder how many families you've taken. How many towns. Reminds me of the mass graves Mom used to talk about, where she said a few of her uncles still were. Their bodies lost somewhere in Andalusia, like her favorite poet. If I had time, I'll go to Spain again. If it wasn't for you, maybe I still can. Lucky for you, I'm as stubborn as the jerk I have for a father. Faye is no longer following me, but the other presence lingers. They said siblings. Except you. They called you brother. And then there's the pedals from the other night. The way they got inside the bus through a small window, yet with such force. Before I could even think about it, I had my hands on my throat. Wait, where are they? They were by the merry-go-round just a second ago. They're gone. Instead, there's a trail of lilac petals. Against the black wall after the beating, I waited. I didn't even know what for, not until I saw you. The alley was dark. I call alleys at night, but you were bright under the street lamps. I remember I thought for a moment you were a ghost, and that if you were to be the last thing I saw before I died, then I was one lucky guy. Grey. Everything was grey. Translucent. You shift my wall back into focus, and after a few blinks, I could finally see the origin of that sweet smell that surrounded me. There were candles around us, dripping big tears of warm walks on the pavement, pools and pools of it. The white substance was crawling up my legs, my hands, burying me. And had I not been that tired, I would have cried. You look at me in a way I recognize. It was the same look I had given to all those I had killed, after beatings, after bruises and blood clots and knife wounds. I thought of a house with a blue carpet and all my mother's shoes. No, I said. I didn't plead. I didn't cry. I just rebelled against you taking away any little pleasure you could get from finishing me off. Now I know that you had already decided, long before I dared to defy you. You crouched down. I was a kid in the big scheme of your universe. You may as well be the first. You spoke without moving your lips. Only on clear nights I can remember the timbre of your voice. It was a gentle and lukewarm drip, seductive. You closed my eyes with your fingertips, a gentle touch. Before I opened them, I could already feel the sunlight on my skin. I could breathe again. Well, I was tied to an analgesics bag for the next 2 weeks, but I was alive. You kept me alive. I took it as a sign. I had a promise to fulfill, and my hands asked for blood. The questions about you, the obsession, could wait. First, I had to go back to the house. By now you surely know why I'm doing this, don't you? You took everything from me. You gave me condoms, water, and a second chance, and I am grateful, but I'm not what I used to be. There's a splinter in you inside me, between my ribs and in my flesh, and I can feel it sinking farther and farther. My insides recoiling any time I think of you. When it comes to you, I'm real. You look at me and didn't blink. You dared not to look away, you fool. I hate this, what you make me feel, this artificial warmness. And first that shadow that won't leave me, then fair, now these petals. And that shadow isn't you. Why aren't you here? Why are you hiding away from me? The sun will rise in a few hours and I'll be closer, but not enough, never enough. I'll still be waiting. You better show up. Can't run away forever. I want to be your last stop.
Sona made the worst elven soup I've ever had. It really isn't that hard, you know. I think we're totally canceling Dutch cuisine here. Okay, enough bullshit. Are you hanging in there? I called you yesterday. Was it a, difficult time? Just tell me how it went down. Hope you took off the carpet beforehand, you idiot. Yes, I did seconds. Nothing's with the for love. It's not going great here. Sona, they're distant, and there's not enough room for us to be distant and comfortable. Talk to me. I know you are isolating, even if you don't care what the government says. You were alright after the hospital, then went back to that place, and this ain't right. Don't let it eat you whole. Fucking talk to me. Hey, this is weird. For someone who is used to being indoors, I'm surely taking this shit hard. Wanted to check up on you, prick. Are you still at your folks' place? Gloomy house, that one. Creepy. But that's how our houses are with time. To our life, like you used to say. I will ask nicely. I will. We're in the middle of a fucking pandemic, Deck. Pandemic! When the fuck were you going to tell me you are skipping town, huh? To go where? First 5 months of silent treatment, and now you're going to Brussels. What if you lost there, the mannequin piece? Then waffle. Okay, sure. Do your thing. That's what you always do. But it would be cool to answer to your best friend sometime, huh? I may not always be here. Hell, you almost died already once. Don't play games with the devil. You like danger too much. Too much. You know, when it's so cold, you put your hood over your head and it isolates you, but you can still hear the wind faintly, just blowing over your head as you ride your bike. That's a constant sensation I've been having in the last week. I try to work, and I have so much stuff to crack to, like piling up, and Sonam is working from home, and we only get out for groceries, but all that stays is the wind. Inside the apartment, outside, in the shower, in bed when I can't sleep. I don't know what I'm listening to, but it's something. Just answer. Confirm you're alive. Are you? Hey Doc, everything alright? Answer the damn phone, dude. Prick, you there? You know, it ain't that hard to text. So this is it. Great. Fucking awesome. I don't even know why I'm still doing this shit. You know what? Whatever you're doing, this is it. You're doing it alone, Deck. This, today. Mark it on a stupid calendar. Write a big bold X on this date. September 6, 2020. You cutting me off your grid? Then I'm doing the same. No more audios, no more messages, no more guessing your sad life. Go run after whatever the hell you're looking for that you can tell me about. You'll end up in a ditch or in another dark street bleeding out. But fun enough. I have my life together. I have Sonam. I have a job, and I have bills, and... well, I'm making excuses. Just fuck off, Deck. You wanted me out of all of this? Now you got it. You always get what you want, no matter what. Fuck.
Seal, I'm about to do something stupid. The pedals stop here. I've been following them all day. From the Arc of Triomphe to the Champs-Élysées, passing the Concorde Square to Sena's Riverside, with the Louvre just out at some distance. The pedals keep popping up in every corner, drawing a path to here. They are now swirling under the grey fence that surrounds Notre Dame, with drawings and illustrations of the cathedral. There are some stands, a few bands. I must get inside. I don't know how, but... oh. Wait.
You think this is nature. You weep for fear when you burn, but do you weep for me? Who cries for my sake? You rot me. You melt me. You suffocate me. Hypocrites, all of you. You wail and you pray to Fe, but you wrap me up in plastic and set me on fire without thinking twice about it. You burn it all, painlessly, guiltlessly. You are worse than chaos because you have a purpose. Worse than chaos. And you who distract. You who made our little brother disappear. What does he see in you? He should be bored after killing you time and again, always taking you to the other side because you can listen.
Who are you?
Your blood, your flesh and sweat. I'm the organisms dwelling in your mouth and your stomach, every fiber that allows your sole existence, that allows you to be the plague. You call this whole chaos a pandemic, but I have yet to see an illness deadly for me, for this world, than you. I will burn every temple where you worship my sibling if you will then recognize how toxic you are. Less praying and more letting me be. Letting me. Let in. What do you want from him?
I don't know.
What do you want from him?
I don't know.
What do you want from him?
Silence. I want to touch him. I want to hold him, to hug him, to kiss him again. I want his stillness and the way the world is when he's here. The world that surrounds him. There is so much noise. There's nothing but noise and pain and blood and this filth in my mouth and my hands when he's not here. And I cannot look at the world because it isn't real. Nothing I see is real when he's not here, when he's not.
You'll do better if you trusted your impulses more. It's in your nature. Brea was right. You don't know where he is. What a waste of time.
Fuck.
All
Incredible.
right. Wow, that got a
That was
lot.
intense.
Oh
Oh
man.
god, I don't even.
So good.
I still don't even know where it's like actually going. Like now it seems like compartmentalized thoughts or pieces of him that he's put into like these beings like Faye and Natura. But I guess we'll have that question answered soon.
It's so, I mean, like, I don't know, haunting feels like a very cliche kind of word to use for something like this, but it really is just stick with you, you know. Like
That's exactly what I wrote in the chat. I said it's also haunting. I
Yeah.
love it.
yeah, just the mood is like, fuck. It's just like you can't really dislike anyone. Like it doesn't feel like there's a villain particularly. You can't really dislike any of the characters. It's just like everybody is doing, which I think is you know, everybody's just doing what they think is right and what they want to get out of it. There's no one that you go, oh, you're a bastard, you're horrible. It's just like
We're all
everyone's just trying their
bastards.
best. Everyone's
Yeah.
trying their best, you know.
When
yeah.
everyone is so full, no one is a real villain. So
Yeah, yeah, true.
That's true. I
Kind of feel like everybody's a bit just miserable, isn't it? Like it's just, I love it. I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
they really are. I mean, the gods are obviously not in a good place
Mm.
at all,
Yeah.
and it's so weird. Like, Faye is. I mean, you can hear them. Like Natura is just like. It's been so long since I listened to this episode, and I keep forgetting. Like, I know how good Luke is, but I was like, oh my god, like he was so good at this. Like, I'm so happy that I'm writing so much. Like, I mean, season 2 is all over the place, but I have, like, there's gonna be a lot of scenes with the gods and with everything, and I'm so happy because God is
Yeah.
like Luke is amazing, and I need more Natura.
I was gonna ask, well, how do you feel listening back to these episodes? I mean, it's been 2 years, right? I mean, how long has it been since the last one was released? I don't actually know the time frame on that, but
I think it ended February.
so been a decent amount of time. How do you feel after this much time listening back? Have you listened back before? Like, what's the going through your mind?
No, I hadn't. I hadn't because I had such an awful time editing myself over and over again that I didn't want to listen to myself all
Sure.
the time. So now it actually doesn't like it felt back at the time that there's this thing that happens with me with Deck, and it's something that I first listened like I first heard from I think it's Alex J. Newell, from I
Rusty
forget
Quill.
all the-
Rusty
yeah,
Quill,
from
yeah.
Rusty Quill, talking about Martin in the Magnus Archives, which is also a big like on audio drama thing. Some Terror was also like heavily inspired by the Magnus Archives, and also I sometimes forget about this, and it's really sad, but. I forgot the name once again. It's I will look for it, but because I had this idea of a road trip, I listened to one of the best podcasts that I also really love. That is
Alice
also
Isn't
a
Dead?
road trip. Alice Isn't Dead.
It's the road
Alice
trip.
Isn't
Yeah.
Dead.
It's good
Yes,
shit.
yes. That also influenced like how it would go
Mm.
because I didn't know how to do it.
I can
I
see
had
that. I can actually, I can see that influence in the way that it's structured. Actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah, like how you're talking to yourself and everything. So it's been interesting because I mean these characters are really close to my heart, but I have this thing like Alex Newell said that I hate Martin. Like one on the first Q&As that they did, like Johnny and Alex did, he was like, I fucking hate Martin. Like he doesn't say fuck, but he said like I hate
Yeah.
Martin, and he said that he hated Martin because he felt Martin was like he was like 10 years ago,
Mm.
and that's something that happens with Deck to me. Like it's a character that has a few things
Mm.
that are from me, and it's like that part of me that it's hopefully long gone. So now sometimes I'm just like, oh, you're so awful, I hate you, because it's secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah, I get that
it's like
definitely.
it's
Yeah.
drama queen,
You did say
So,
Deck
yeah,
is quite the
but-
drama queen earlier in the chat.
Yeah, he's a drama queen. Like I love him, but I'm the first one who will insult him. So yeah, and I like fun fact. The last part of this episode when he's just like crying out for Seal.
Mm.
That was the second take. I did no more takes. It was just 2 takes, and it has been really hard for me to cry since I started transitioning because testosterone that happens to some people,
Mm.
and I cried a little bit. Like most that I could cry at the moment, I that was the take that I was able to cry a little bit. I was like, I'm telling
Interesting.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's,
Interesting.
it's very interesting to hear the kind of personal aspect of that. So thank you for sharing.
Something you never really think about, isn't it?
What was that, Paul?
Said it's just stuff like that. I find it very interesting. It's,
Mm.
you never think about
Well, that
people who are
backstage
transitions.
kind of.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
everything. It's just fascinating. We'll go through our own kind of production processes and our own own production stories, like, and I find them all I find everybody's story fascinating. Thanks for sharing, David. That was very it was an interesting insight.
I mean, the whole show is like done like there was, I think, never a moment where two voice actors were in the same place. When I recorded this last leg of 7 episodes, we have another 3 voice actors, and all of them came to my place where I still live with my parents to record in my room. So maybe there were some that we didn't record at the same time, but they could react to me if I was the one also. So there's obviously this very specific that you're gonna listen to, but the others I would just like giving lines and everything. But there's gonna be some interactions, and these people never were in the same room.
Yeah.
Like, we know each other, and I think they did a pretty good job. And I felt with this episode too that always, like, I don't know how you guys do it, but like always if I record with some voice actor or actress, or I will like make them listen to what the other person said to the second person, just like, okay, this is how it went, so you can kind of react to that. This is how it sounded, so at least they have that, and they balance each other out. And I think that worked out for the last 7 episodes. But yeah, we never recorded at the same time, the same moment, and it's something that I would really like to do for season 2.
Sure.
Yeah, we also had a few plans. Like I would love to have the time to have all the Pantheon. I don't know. We talk about playing a one shot in character, which will be so much fun.
That would be so sick.
Because sometimes, like, like the actors are my friends, so sometimes we get into character and it's really fun. Like, I live with Natura, and Deka and Natura are not a good, like, Natura hates humans and hates Dek even more. So it's just like...
That's awesome.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so sometimes, I don't know, we're having dinner, and my friend Matt, who is playing Bre, he just like says something like, "Nah, these humans," and I'm just like, "Excuse me."
Now, we haven't met Bre yet, have we?
No, we haven't met
Oh,
Bre yet.
exciting.
But you're never gonna forget them. Like,
Oh, I can't wait.
they're like my most self-indulgent character. It's like everything I love about a character, everything I would love to, I don't know, like that's right.
Yeah.
I had a question about, you talked a bit about the process for recording for the season 1 and like the last 7 episodes, like you couldn't really record like together in that way. How did your process change from episode 1 to episode 21? How long did it take, and did it become more efficient as you went? Did you feel like later episodes are of like maybe a higher quality because you've learned more, that kind of thing? I'd be very interested in hearing, and maybe some of that we'll touch on later because we still have 7 more. But what did you learn on the way to making season 1?
I mean, literally before I made this, I only recorded myself doing a few lines of sorts things that I've written, and then edit some music and everything. Like, that's like, it's not simple in like audio, like soundscape. Like the soundscape, it isn't simple by choice. It's because I didn't know how to make anything else. So I was just like, what's like the things that I need to people in the, like, I'm near the harbor, I'm gonna have seagulls. I'm in a bus stop, so you have to listen to buses. There were like, I played a lot, like subtly with, like stereo, like now right and left, and you can now hear this. Like, that was something that I really like to play with. But for example, it kept getting more and more complex, and it really shows. Like, if I could show you like the audition, and I started on Audacity and then switched to Audition, would help a lot. Make everything more clear. And so yeah, like at first it was just me running the lines, and when I was happy, like at first I have monologues, so it was like I could sometimes do a few takes, just one long take and just get it. because I have written it and I have rewritten it in 2 languages, so I knew what I wanted every moment. But then I have the actors and I have to talk to them and I have to. It got really complex. One thing that I for sure I'm gonna do next season is I'm gonna outsource. I'm gonna pay, hopefully very good, someone to do the sound edit, like the dialogue editing, because that's the part that I hate. Like
Kai's face just lit up there.
I'm open to work.
okay, like you're hired. Don't worry.
I was like,
I would.
I
you just
might
need
know a
to
guy.
yeah, like I don't know. You can learn some Spanish, so you can do the Spanish one too. But
Yeah, I have a
can-
GCSE in Spanish. It's fine. It'll be
That's good. That's good. But that's one of the parts that I really hated because it took so much time. And
Yeah.
then I really had fun when I had like everything put together. It's just like, okay, now the sounds. And you can like
I know that
Kai
feeling.
knows and Paul, but Kai, you have listened to it recently. You know, I get a little bit more creative, and it gets more fun. Soundscape talking to like.
I will say the dream sequence in episode 7 is very creative though. I'm like I was very listening just now as well, like really paying full attention to everything, like every little detail. It's just so sick. Like it's fantastic. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah.
You wouldn't know you didn't know what you were doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I feel like it was a limit. It felt more like a choice. It felt like this show is dialogue. It is about monologues. It is about in the internal musings of Deck, and then then you have the voice actors coming in. Like, I to feel like you don't need to do anything else. The sound design is excellent. And I was listening to the sounds as well, and I was trying to think. I was like where did they ever get these sounds out of? They're just they're excellent. They're very atmospheric. They're not over the top. They're subtle. The sounds are very good, and they're different.
The
How,
panning.
where did you get the sounds out of? Did you just find them online, or did you
Free
go out and
sounds.
do it yourself?
Free sounds.
Most of them are free
Freesounds.org, baby.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like searching and
Yeah.
but I had like really like I had a lot of posits of what I wanted from each character. Like there are certain sounds that are linked to each character. Like for example, every time Seal is kind of around, you're gonna hear drops. Natura is really close to fire, so you're gonna hear fire in the end. Afe is more like correlates more with water. That's the beach and the ocean and everything. And I'm gonna give a little bit something, but Bray is really connected to storms and lightning. So and storms in the background. So I had really clear like sounds for each character. So it was just a matter of putting everything what it had to be, and then just playing when I wanted to play, and just being like simple. I didn't want to work that much. It was like it works like this. I don't have to add anything. Like I should
Sonic
add like
motifs.
for example, there's always like this question in audio dramas like should I add footsteps? And I'm just like no. Like I was just like I'm not gonna do like only when it's necessary, when I have
Yeah.
to tell, and I don't want to tell the character. Like for example when Dick gets into Notre Dame, that you can hear him running. That's important, but the rest, like you can figure he's probably walking sometimes when he's recording.
Yeah.
So I don't need to give you that.
No, that makes sense. I think I think it does then in that case kind of bring more attention when you are hearing these more deliberate sounds that you're adding. I think it really does add to the moment quite a bit, and I would agree that the footsteps in Notre Dame, in the cathedral, definitely kind of created an even more intense atmosphere that you're listening more closely because something important is about to happen. Yeah, I think that was a very smart creative choice, and it was very effective.
For me, when I sorry, Kat, when I pictured
No,
the
no, go.
scenes, I don't know if you meant to do this on purpose, but when I pictured the scenes in my mind's eye, mine's always blurry, and I don't know if you meant to do that on purpose. I think that a lot of
Wait,
that is your
what?
sound design. Like like kind of like blurry. It's almost as if the camera is always the internal camera in my mind when I'm thinking of the show. It's always focused on the characters. In the background, then is there, but so the sound design makes it so that the focus is the characters. The background
That's really
just
interesting.
kind of adds to it. The way that's just how I pictured the show in my mind, and for me that works.
So
I think it's
you're saying
it's
it
almost,
paints the
it's almost
perspective,
like everything's. Yes, yeah.
not
everything
the
kind of
scene,
feels
but
like
the
it's in
perspective. I like that.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I can see that actually.
That's
Like,
yeah.
that's how I
gotta
see it. That's
really-
how I see the show.
I got a really awesome compliment a while ago. There was like this small, like they were recommending shows, I think, for Halloween or like horror shows, indie shows, on one podcast on BBC Four, something like that. Like I got tagged and was like, "What the hell?" Like someone is talking about those in some place in the BBC, and they said one thing. One of the persons that listened to it, they said like it felt like watching a TV show.
Mm.
Like it,
Yeah.
like you don't know why, but it's very visual.
Yeah.
And I really like that idea. Like I would like, I don't know if someone here, like I would love to. I think this would be a show that could be translated pretty good to TV.
I was thinking
or
that.
to,
Yeah.
like visually, rather than a book. Actually, I think it will work better as a show. And I don't know, I would fucking love it because
I was thinking like an
But-
animation.
Make
would
a
be really
good web
for it.
series too.
Yeah. I
'Cause
can
it's-
imagine an animated, that scene in the cathedral animated, I think would be incredible because you could get so wild with it. I
Yeah.
think would be really fantastic.
Like a very like painterly kind of style too, because like
Yeah.
you could have like artistic brushstrokes that's like that's blood or wax
Yeah.
or things like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can like very kind of clearly picture like what a Dose After You show would look and feel like. Paul had mentioned something that Paul mentioned is like it doesn't feel like an amateur show, like you didn't know what you're doing, like it does not ever sound like you had
No.
no idea what you're doing, but you
Not at
can also you can see your knowledge, you can hear your skills increase as the episodes go on. Episode 1 is still very beautifully written, but then you get to something like episode 7 and throughout the 8 through 14, and your approach with sound design is much better. And that's something I really love about the indie community and hearing people's first projects.
Yeah.
You can
We could
hear
plot it on a graph. Like,
yeah, you can hear the beginning of Chain of Being, episode 1 Chain of Being
compared to fucking the finale.
and
it's
I haven't
like,
even heard the original. I've only heard the remastered
Oh,
episode
you
once.
don't want to listen to the originals.
Same.
But then you hear the
I heard the
finale.
original.
Yeah,
Original's
you're,
good.
you're very nice
Original
about
holds
it,
up.
Paul, but
You were
yeah.
also like
Does.
16, Kai.
We will
Like
believe
you've learned
Paul.
so much since then. But like
It's true,
episode
yeah.
1 versus Cobb season 1 finale, it's incredible. Season 1. So with Paul specifically, you can feel it from the first season
100%.
through the second season of Voiders into season 3. Season 1 still sounds great, but season 3 sounds phenomenal because it's as you become more excited for your show and the more work you're putting into it, the better you're getting. You can just feel the passion and the energy really increase in the sound design. And that's something I love hearing that in our shows. Because so many shows you can feel
It's palpable.
that yeah, it really is. Like the power levels are just rising. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I had-
congrats to everyone here. You are all so fucking talented and have worked so hard on your art.
I had a question, and this it might just be me reading into things, but with the number of episodes and the fact that it's every 3 episodes, there's this kind of break. Is the 3 sets of 7 episodes like very biblical numbers? And we've talked privately about the sort of Christian influences in both our shows. Is that intentional, or is that just a happy coincidence?
It was kind of intentional, and I was planning on doing something similar for season 2. Like
That's so fucking cool.
the breakthrough that I had with season 2 is that I wanted to change everything and do 7 episodes longer, like just 7.
Yeah.
But then, like, actually, Aida, who's listening, and I went to Paris with them. We took photographs of Notre Dame, like Natura was here. like they told me, like, why would you make episodes longer? This is perfect for people with ADHD. And I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, and probably that's one of the things that has been keeping me a lot from not writing, because I'm actually good at writing short things. I'm awful at writing long things. Things start to like stop making sense. It stop making sense. So I'm probably gonna change it, but I'm keeping the 7s and the 3s because
I like it.
makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense for some stuff.
I really love that the episodes, like, they are so short and sweet, but they don't feel 4 to 6 minutes long. They
No,
feel
you get enough out of
there's
it.
so much depth to them that it feels like they're 10 plus minute episodes because there's so much, and there's even pauses in dialogue. There's these times where it kind of pushes and pulls like a wave, and it feels like such a much more involved experience than just like 5 minutes an episode. So I don't know how the hell you do it, but kudos.
It's not rushed. You're not being rushed at all. You're
No.
totally
No.
taken on this journey in such a good pacing. It's like,
And it's
it's
still
amazing.
bite sized, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
still each episode feels, and it's like still very episodic. While there is this kind of pushing narrative, it feels like very self contained stories as we're learning more about Dex Pass. It's crazy.
Oh my god, and we're starting.
Yeah,
a-
wasted air. They say wasted air. There's no wasted air.
No wasted air.
yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
Did you
Well, so you
all
managed to-
want
Oh, yeah,
to
sorry.
take a couple minutes before we start on the next
I
block?
might run to the toilet
Yeah,
real
you-
quick. but
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will switch over to the next screen, and we'll see you all back in 5 to 10. And we'll listen to the last little bit. Hello and welcome back. We are about to hop into the very last third of Dose After You's first season. It's been quite the ride so far. So what I'm going to do is start up the show. Make sure if you are not watching.
One thing. Yeah, one small thing, because probably you cut that out. I don't know. Okay, but episode 18 has a few content warnings.
Okay.
Like we could say it's plus 18. A little bit not safe for work. Okay, so
Gotcha.
just a heads up. Yeah.
Go.
All right, no problem. Well, with that in mind, episode 18, content warning. We will go in. We are starting with episode 15, Rooftop, followed by Reflection, Her. Oh, shit, what is... It doesn't show on my track listing. David, do you have the...
18 was Home.
And then Teeth, Doubt, and the final episode, 21,
Is Silence.
Silence. All right, let's... If you are not already watching, go ahead and click watch stream so you can listen along.
You're not from here.
And you're far too high?
Ah, if there was only a way for you to get up here.
The view is interesting.
Interesting is a word. Yeah. Do you have a name?
Sil. You?
Vic.
Nice meeting you, Dick.
Same. I'll shake your hand, but
It isn't easy to clean. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. And what brings you to this side of Harlem, Seal?
You won't bite if I say that I'm new in the neighborhood, will you?
Nope.
I'm just visiting.
Yeah. Looks like an awful lot of running.
Looks like you got yourself in quite a mess.
Oh, yes. I was just cleaning up.
Cleaning? Yes, you get tired of that.
Have we met before?
I bet you say that to every cute guy you bump into.
Only the short ones.
Maybe we met close to a black brick wall in Rotterdam.
But you weren't. Your skin was lighter, your lips thinner, and your eyes. They weren't. I'm sure they weren't gray.
Ah, yes, this? I have a darker skin here. I like it more, honestly. I hate to look like a white canvas.
What are you?
The monster under your bed.
No. I killed him last night.
Congratulations.
Why?
Why did I let you live, or why did I run?
You know what? Let's hear both.
I had doubts about my existence. I had made up my mind about living the kind of life that I had, cutting all the ties and just running. When I saw you in the dark alley, covered in wax, waiting for me, and you just looked at me confident and said, no. I thought, why not start with you? You could be the first. I have taken away too many people. Millions of lives drowned, murdered, withered, only because others wouldn't listen Only because you never see me coming until it's too late. Only because she is loud when I am only me.
Silence.
Yes.
Would you like to go inside?
That would be nice. Yes.
I'm here, Seal. I'm here. I've been thinking. Yeah, sometimes I do that. Maybe you missed the usual melancholic audio on the bus, but I needed to sort it all out. You're a god. There are more gods, two at least, looking for you and ready to do almost anything to find you. Is that why you don't get back at me? Why you... And at the same time, every day that passes I see more animals on the streets, faces of all ages, dolls, blinkers, hardly one or two see-throughs. There are always children and that scares the shit out of me, honestly. Animals, gods... Why do you have to make it all so complicated? Well, yeah, I know I'm not the kindest human on earth. I'm actually closer to being the worst human of the year, and the fact that I don't have it in me to be regretful, it doesn't look good for me. I'm aware of it. Sometimes this all feels too big. Wandering around London, talking to you like you care about what I have to say, when the voices of your siblings still follow me. Damn it. Na, 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 na. You know, I gave up smoking 5 years ago. I stopped when Tess got into rehab. I thought it'd be a nice gesture, a way to support her and be present somehow. It was a big, big lie. I've never had a problem with smoking. Some taste fine, most just taste like gas and leave a smell on my fingertips that stay for days. She knew this. She knew because we've been together since we were 15. She also knows how fast I can be drinking shots. She knows how easy it is to find small colorful umbrellas on any of my coat pockets. She keeps count of how many times I've fallen into a canal. Yeah, we pretended. I wonder if I haven't been pretending for over 10 years. And now I finally had the guts to come clean and out of her life, with you as an excuse. No. You're much more than an excuse. The irony of it all is that I have now a zig between my fingers. Because if I enter a pub and I order a pint, I know I will be able to hear Natura whispering in my ear. I see you at every corner, but my mind is tricking me. I walk past the shop windows, covered in for rent and for sale signs, and just as I disappear on one end, I catch a glimpse of your figure at the other end. A grey shadow on grey pavement, a reflection that follows me and, once I turn around, vanishes into thin air. What right do you think you have to do as her? Did you pretend that evening on the rooftop? That night on my bed? Did you really believe I'll just be nice and quiet, that I wouldn't get out just to find you? That I do what I did with her once I saw the suits, that I would. Who do you think you are?
Jack, if only my little brother will answer us.
I worry endlessly. Were I to have a heart, it will still an ache for him, now that he's gone. I know the kind of prayers Faith faces, and so I am aware of their fear, of their respect, of their worry. I listen to their cries and pleadings when they see me, but that is something he never knew, never noticed. I am sure of this. He is mine, after all, my bastard and offspring, the river born within me. And I understand him more than he believes. If my dear life has not touched him, it is only because of me. What can I do now to find him? What should I do once I do find him? It is an arduous world, and I have a job to do. Time cannot stretch more for me, not even for me.
Death, but what more can you do? We are looking incessantly, time is on our side.
What do you know, my child?
I bring nothing but news that has already been spoken. Natura's little trip has cost them more than they already cheered for manners.
I do not like it when you speak ill of your siblings, Bre, nor when you are unclear.
Oh, mother, but I was born to be unclear, was I not? Nothing is what it seems these days. Our little brother betrayed us, face drawing helping human devotion, and Natura is, well, still alive, which is quite the achievement.
Have you spoken with her?
Mother life. Oh, no, even I dare to get close to her in this time and in space. Only Natura does, and only because they have no other option.
Bre, child, why do I suspect you are not being truthful to me?
But when I have a big mother. All in time. You know I am faithful to our family.
You are faithful to yourself first.
Don't judge a creature's natures once you have released them into the wild.
I do not have time for this, child. The world is old and loves to suffer while calling out my name. What you came to say it out loud.
Don't I hate to be the bearer of such news. My little brother knows how to move and moves fast, mother. But I've had my eye on something slower that has caught his interest. Something... fleshy.
Speak clear, child.
Remember that last human he left untouched alive? We have found him. He reeks of wax and blood, quite a funny little human.
And?
And he is looking for your son while he waters the street he walks in crimson.
When you say we, do you refer to you and your siblings?
Hard not to. His solar is and thrilling. Calls us, and he cannot move as fast as our little brother.
I suspect you have plans for this human.
Oh, trust a mother to know how her children work. He is special to our brother. A little show should work, and if not, at least you will have me entertained and too far away to bother you.
I do not enjoy the idea of manipulating humans. Far too brittle.
We have nothing to lose, mother, and your son has had quite a running start.
Show me the human.
As you wish, mother.
Stains all over him.
Interesting. Our brother knows surely where to look. And so, mother?
When have you ever needed my permission, Bre? I only ask you and your siblings for what is mine. Bring my son back.
My pleasure.
What?
I had forgotten this.
It didn't feel like you had forgotten a thing, honestly.
Not that. It is dangerous. To be touched is a dangerous thing.
So much power in flesh.
I'm being serious, Tech. It's different when you're like me. Time hardly means anything. We don't live by its measure as you do. It has been so long since someone saw me, and more since someone dared to touch me or let me touch them.
Tell me, how is it for you?
It is. One doesn't imagine skin to be that rough yet soft and warm. Bodies are maps of their own. Cheeks, chest, thighs. There are mountains and valleys and rivers that run deep underneath in a color we both know how it tastes. A forest. Alive.
How do you feel when you touch me?
Hungry. I never heard my name screamed out loud before.
Well, it isn't a common name.
You're one to talk. You could at least choose it.
Well, I've never been known for making good decisions. But my name is one I like.
I like it too.
It won't work.
Leave me. I try.
I think we'll see.
Disappointed?
A little. Sex was fantastic, though.
Would have been better if you'd clean up a little.
Oh, didn't know bloodstains would be a turn-off for you?
They usually aren't. I should be going.
Where?
Doesn't matter. I might be in Camden Town 2 weeks from now.
Well, I think 2 weeks it's enough to clean some stains, so...
I know you'll try again. Try as much as you like. I find it enduring.
I'm not going to thank you, you know.
Maybe you will. After this.
Seal,
Look at me again. Yes, I like this more.
Well, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks.
If the world doesn't end before then, yes. In 2 weeks.
All this just to get to London, and now I just left and came to Brighton. I'm losing it, Seal. I think I am. I haven't slept in 24 hours, but it's not like I slept much before. They follow me. The shadow. It must be a sibling of yours. Fe, Natura, and now... Please tell me you're not like 6 siblings. Please. Oh, please don't. Teeth in the sand. This can't be real. Has any of this been at any point? Huh? Whenever I press record, I feel them. Another audio and they get closer. I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you as much as I did. I tried to route them and now I'm not in London. What? Fuck. I need people. And a beer as big as my head.
What a sight that pine must be giving you.
It cost more than I expected.
Happens here, yeah? Haven't seen you around. New in the neighborhood?
Not quite, no. Just passing.
Lad, ain't nobody just passing in a fucking pandemic.
Are you going to buy me another or what?
If you fuck like you drink, sure.
Huh. Then make it two.
What does it mean of Osa?
I can see why he likes.
Holy shit!
Oh, forgive me. Lights. Not too many, though. Excuse me for the lack of shape. I find shadows way more interesting than flesh. Shall we begin?
To consume, to possess. In my life, there's one thing I've always wanted, Seal. To feel less. I may look apathetic, but I assure you I'm not. Everything just becomes too much. The world is chaos, it's loud, it's a plate against glass, against skin, against blood. It's a piece with so many instruments, I just wish it end. That it stopped for a moment so I could catch my breath. And when I met you, when I touched you, the world became quieter. I could finally hear the strings, the double bass, the violas, rich and dark, sensual and clear. You called me. The heart stopped, the dance changed. When you left, the noise came back louder than ever, unbearable. I would have lived a sad existence, used to the never-ending headache the world was, but to know silence, to have it on my lips, on my skin, and live. That's what hurts the most, Seal. It changed me. You changed me. Now, there's no coming back. This journey is a one-way ticket. No refunds. I'll see you soon, Seal.
Mm-hmm. Have you come to a decision?
I have.
Yeah, but a record from my little brother. He liked to know what happened next. You can pick up that knife if it makes you feel better. That's how it is. You are waiting for me to explain, aren't you?
You caught up to me.
Oh, well, our little game had to end, sadly. The clock ticks even for the gods, clever boy.
What do you want from me? You've been following me since.
Clever boy, don't dwell on the past when the future holds all the uncertainty we need.
What do you want?
You ask me what I want when you don't even ask for my name. Maybe I shouldn't be calling you clever boy. But I will answer you. Big question it is. Set the world on fire. Have fun. Annoy my mother's daily. Find my little brother. One or two more Warhol and Heart. These are just a few, and I need them in no specific order.
What do I have to do with all that?
All you do is ask and ask and ask and ask and need answer of my own boy. Such as, why haven't you been sincere with my little brother?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, but you do. You care such as you do in love. Or so you say, as you don't even know the first thing about him. You only know of his name, of his existence, not what he has done. Is that what you humans call love? How could anyone leave their life behind as you've done, only to follow after a god no one sees nor remembers? Are you even worthy of him? Did you honestly believe he will love you back and absolve you of your sins or something of the kind? Not even you are that naive.
I saw him, and he saw me.
And? Is that enough? Oh, how little you humans need, and then disguise and false humility. Will you not rather keep roaming the world, knife in hand, watering the earth with blood? You still have time to decide, clever boy.
Just tell me how to see him. I know you know how.
Oh, haven't you figured it out already? Yes, that look in your eyes tell me you have, clever boy. Maybe you need a helping hand, huh? Why do you wish to kill him?
I have my own reasons.
Oh, he made you feel something? Poor clever boy, the killer of killers, the father murdered, the terror of the rich and the powerful, born in a house that almost ate him. Is that why you killed? Because mommy left you to rot in that house?
No. The moment she left me, she was dead to me. My father was still responsible. He didn't care for her, he didn't even look at her, and she didn't understand me. I believe she knew too soon what I would be.
A killer.
An empty shell. Unspeakable thirst.
Poetic. Others will use words such as monster, psychopath.
Those are just words we use to name what we don't care to understand. What we can change and mold to survive in the society as we have it. But it is just human nature. We create and we destroy. I benefit from what I destroy and protect those who cannot do it themselves. I survive.
Oh, no. Are you ever tired of justifying yourself? As I said, I can see what he sees in you. You probably do his work better even. A more interesting little brother, yes.
What's your angle in all this, Bere?
Oh. I just want to have a conversation with my little brother. I am worried, old sibling, you see?
You're right.
Then, clever boy, answer me this. How does anybody summon the god of silence?
With blood. No! Seal, don't cry. Shh, just keep breathing.
Look at me, yes. Look at me. I'm here. I'm here.
I like those eyes.
No, Dick. Dick, don't die. If you die, if it's by present, I can't. Dick, please, breathe.
Seal.
Yes. I'm here. Tell me.
I couldn't kill you.
Of course you couldn't. You idiot. But if you die, why?
I wanted to see you again.
Don't laugh. Don't. You're losing. Oh, mother. You're losing so much blood.
It's okay, trust me. Tell Tess that I'm sorry.
You tell her yourself, okay? Breathe, Dick. Please. Don't close your eyes. Don't.
Kiss me. Once more.
Yes. Yes.
I miss that. Always miss that.
I'll kiss you 1,000 times more if you just breathe. Please.
Maybe I change you too.
Dick, don't close your eyes. Please, please don't. Please.
Hey, Mother is here.
Hi there, David Orion here. First of all, thank you. Thank you so much for all the warmth, the love, and the awesome response this audio drama has got all around the globe. Thank you for listening to this strange and intimate story of 21 episodes just this season, and for all the support on Ko-fi, Patreon, and social media. I wanted to give you something special for this episode, but life got in the way, and I think I'd rather let you have this ending than stretch it any longer. What I have in mind will happen, as well as season 2, eventually. Now please, enjoy this episode, and also check the trailer of Gyro Rebuke by the end. It's an awesome show, and if you feel a little bit empty after those finishes, Gyro Rebuke will do wonders for you. Listen to you soon, and remember, record yourself. Seal might be listening. Those after you. What's on the other side?
Not even I know. You could stay, or you could go through.
If I stay, I'd be an animal, wouldn't I?
Correct?
To be with him, to see him again, it's not enough to be human.
Whatever you may believe you can find on the other side, cease these foolish search. Only the souls my son has taken have come back. You are not one of them.
But that means I could come back.
They have no memories of what they have seen and experienced on the other side. You may not be the same, even if you succeed.
I haven't been the same since I met him. That's what I needed. To change.
What do you expect to become?
Someone worthy of being with him.
Mm-hmm. Have you come to a decision?
I have. I will come back. For him. Thank you.
Good luck, boy.
This was it with your boyfriend. Oh, come on, don't look at me like that, little brother. We both know you wouldn't have come otherwise. If you think it through, it is your fault. You left him as bait.
Give me just one reason not to tear you into a million pieces and throw you to the other side, Brett.
Easy. I'm on your side, little brother.
Repeat that again?
This is why I was looking for you, silly! Run, fly, hide in a hole in the center on this planet and never come back. Since the day the sky turned red for just an evening and you started running, this world has become an exquisite chaos. All there is now is absolute and equidistant uncertainty.
But, Mother?
Mother knows she cannot trust me. But she really had no other option. Oh, she misses you, little brother.
Stop joking around.
Just when I was being honest. What are you waiting for? Fly before Mother comes back. Run away. Leave your death unintended and the world filled with animals. Wasn't this the freedom you longed for?
No one, Dick. This is my fault.
It is. He isn't the first nor the last whose death is on you, and not the only one who will go after you.
Shut up.
Blood in your hands, it isn't easy to clean or notice.
Then, what? You cover me?
Oh, of course I will. To a degree, of course. You don't avoid as well as you think you do, little brother. Anytime you pop up somewhere near, you drench there of wax and honey.
Are you really suggesting that I stop moving?
That way I will know how to contact you in case one of our dear siblings tries anything stupid. Oh, or mothers, but pray to fate that doesn't happen.
Good luck getting her out of the throne.
Oh, it is but a matter of time. If it means your end, she will stand up, little brother.
I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive you.
Oh, but I don't need your forgiveness. Just a tiny favor when the time comes.
Perfect.
Careful with fast children. There are many minor gods and goddesses sizing up any advantage that comes their way. Oh, silly me! Catch this! Float around before you leave, pretty please. Always a pleasure to work with you, little brother.
Do me a favor and just draw.
Oh, mother! He flew the place and escaped!
I've had enough, child. Let us leave.
Mother, sometimes you're not no fun. As you wish.
Is this recording? I think so. What is this?
5 months and 3 days here, and I choose today to hit the record button. I'm leaving today.
No,
Finally.
they didn't.
There's so much I want to tell you, Sia. Are we all small images of you? I was meant to be one of them, another fractal.
This is his.
When I pulled down my
It's
mask
his.
to smoke, I noticed it.
Oh, mothers, it's still
It
stained.
smelled of orange tree.
Mira por dónde vas, gilipollas.
Prick. Wait. Did they see me?
Que está en rojo, coño.
Lo siento. Can they see me? Touch me? Dick, what happened?
Amazing.
That was it.
Fantastic.
Well, that was
Oh,
unexpected.
God. I forgot how uncomfortable episode 18 was.
It wasn't that bad. I was honestly expecting much worse.
No, it was like this kind of, it's in between. I'm not gonna show the middle of it. It's just in between. So that's good.
Yeah. No, I think it was well done. I got so Bre was awesome. And I noticed that your Twitter profile has a Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood reference. Bre reminds me a lot of Lust. Is that intentional?
I was gonna say
No, I was
Envy.
gonna say Envy. It's
wait.
Envy.
Envy. Wait. Envy is the
one with, like,
fucking
spiky-
crazy one, right?
Yeah. Lust is
Yeah.
like very calm.
The
Like,
non-binary
Envy's
one
fucking-
that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Envy. Yes.
Yeah.
Reminds
Someone
me
has
a
told me
lot of
also, like people who are listening, my friend Aida is also listening with their friends, and they told me like one of his friends said that Bray reminds him of Loki, and it's like, I can see why, but it's not the same. It's
I feel like
polar
Loki's
vibes.
too kind of like stuck up, whereas I think the chaos comes through with Bray definitely. Like the sort of
Bray's unapologetically chaotic.
yeah.
Fantastic.
And I
The whole
think
thing is
Matt,
fantastic.
like actually like the actor just wrote me a while ago like, I'm sorry I couldn't be here, how is it going? And I was just gonna say, and I was telling him like, don't worry, like I will be like getting compliments for you and I will give you back. And he reminded me that we had this joke that we had to record Bray reacting to episode 18 because there's this thing, if you have noticed, there are different recording sounds. And it's very subtle. It's one thing that I did, and it just made sense for me. It's to make a distinction from where, like, when Dake is recording and when Dake isn't the one recording. Because who's recording episode 15 and 18?
Shit.
And the answer is Bray. So we had this whole chat of, but wait, does that mean that Bray listened to that? And I was like, yeah. And the actor was just like, we have to make a reaction for that. It's like, yeah.
So good.
That would be
Because
awesome.
also like, Bray is absolutely disgusted by bodies and corporeal forms. Like they are comfortable in shadows and not being trapped in a body. So listening to bodies do things, it's just like their worst fear ever. Just like this is
Yeah.
fucking disgusting, you know, like.
Can Syl choose when he is corporeal and physical because there's a physical connection, or is there something really special about Deck that Deck can have this sort of physical relationship with Syl? Because Syl's very surprised at the end that he can be perceived and touched. So is that just like they're out of control of that now, or can Syl have done that before, or is Deck just that special? Is that spoilers?
Like, no, it isn't. Like, the Pantheon as we have it, we've heard Death, which is voiced by Violeta Serrano, another friend of mine.
I was gonna say that's an
and I
amazing performance as
absolutely-
well. I think it's so
Yes,
fucking
that's
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Like, I known her for a long time. She's actually my drum teacher too. And I just like thought of her for Death because she's a poet and she recites very well, and I thought that would bring a lot of like that makes
Yeah.
sense in my mind to have her do.
It felt like
So
it
we
could
have-
have been in Hades a little bit. The sort of the tone of it felt like. Sorry, go.
No, yes. So we have Death and we have Life. They are the mothers, and then we have the siblings, which are like the children of the two of them, which are Bre, which is the short for incertidumbre in Spanish, which is uncertainty, and that's the only name that doesn't translate both languages. Then we have Natura and we have Fe, and Syl is only Death's bastard. Like it's only Death's. Like Life isn't his mother. So there's something there, and all of them can choose to have like a body representation, like a physical representation. Some of them like decide on certain stuff, but Bray is the only one that even if he has to go down to earth and do something, they will still be really reluctant to like, okay, do I have to have a body? My body will not make sense. Like I
Yeah.
will be what angels in the Bible
Yeah.
are described, you know, like that's breast fault. That's not fair. That's breast fault. Like,
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you for answering that.
That's so cool.
and the thing is that silence, like Seal, usually isn't noticed by people because when he appears in some city, whatever they are, he like his body usually changes to the kind of person in that environment that will make will make people look away. You know, like you won't notice him. You know, so like for example, if you're like in a white country, he will probably be white, or maybe not white actually. Maybe he will be like a person of color that, you know, like look homeless, something like that. You know, like someone you would not pay mind in the
Gotcha.
streets, and it really differs wherever he is. So to be somewhere like, because with Deck is like, okay, like this guy is seeing me, you know, and it's only the two of them. Sometimes that happens. Also with people who he might kill sooner or later, will retrieve. But at the end of the season, like it ends in Madrid, the center of the city in Gran Via, and like there's a lot of people. That's not a place where Seal will be seen. So when he's seen, he's just like, what the fuck did just happen?
Gotcha. That's awesome.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's more or less yeah.
I wrote this note right at the beginning, and then just reminding myself, the theme tune's amazing. Like the theme tune is so I don't know, it's so effective and does such a good job of like bringing you in to each. I mean, when you listen properly, like on the like podcast feed, bringing in and going out with that tune is so does such a good job of setting the scene, getting you in the right mood. It's what's the story behind that? Is that you, or is that?
Okay, so the music, we have two different music pieces. The two of them are made by Lucia de Palau, which is a friend of a friend. She lives in London, and she's like very polyphacetic artist. First she did the intro song, like which will be more or less Deck's theme.
Yeah.
And then we have two other themes. We have Breast theme, which sounds in the background. It sounds more in the fading out in some episodes. And then we have Seals, which is the one that Deck starts singing in episode 15 and keeps singing a little bit later, and you can hear in the end of the show. So so we have three ones.
It's so cool.
That is awesome.
I would really love to have more music, like some themes, like A Theme for Death and A Theme for Natura, and that would be pretty awesome.
That'd be so cool.
So, Kai and I kind of mentioned this a bit when you, during I think one of our breaks. How difficult was it to? So I have some questions. I'm not a native Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
I would understand very little of it from my 2 or 3 years in Spanish. Do you feel as if the performances differed in English and Spanish? Do you feel like certain emotions are elicited in kind of different ways with a more? I mean, everyone seemed very, very comfortable with English, but just how different does the show feel in Spanish compared to English?
This was fun because Deck actually, I don't have a word. I will probably use punk, but Deck sounds a little bit more punk and a bit more vulgar in Spanish. In English, he sometimes sounds so elevated, and in Spanish, to sound that elevated, it's way too unnatural. So sometimes he actually goes a little bit lower. He sounds different. Bre's actor like Matt, Violeta, like Bre, Death, and Natura. For me, like the three actors have amazing performances, but they are a little bit better in Spanish than in English. Like they're more comfortable, so they bring a lot to the table. Like I had a small problem with Matt, and it's like his accent in English is all over the way because he has family in New Orleans, he has family in Ireland, and in Scotland, and so his English is just wow. So when we were recording, like half the time that I spent with Matt wasn't like giving him directions. Actually, it was like you have to pronounce this like this because I cannot understand you. Don't just say it like just say it. And he was like, but that's how I said it. Like I know, like. Bre doesn't have to be fully understood, okay? So that's cool, but it has to be like I have to have a minimum, you know. And then in Spanish, it's just another way. In Spanish, I would just look at Matt and just go like, "Do your thing."
Yeah, I gave a listen to the episodes in Spanish, despite my C in my Spanish GCSE way back when. But it's definitely it's just nice. It's good. It's a good listen. I do recommend it. If like, you know, obviously, like listening to the whole thing might be kind of difficult, especially if you don't speak the language. But yeah, it definitely is a different feel. Not like better or worse per se, but definitely different. Yeah, it's good. It was a nice listen. It's a good language.
Related to that, I know often, and I know this from watching Japanese, like anime in English and Japanese. There's often translation issues. Like there's certain things that can't quite be captured correctly in a certain amount of like words, syllables, whatever when they do the English translation. So often entire scenes are kind of almost redone and can lose a lot of meaning from one language to another. How though English and Spanish are much closer than English to Japanese, did you feel that you were able to translate it exactly kind of the way you wanted to? Did you ever find yourself struggling for like the right way to say it in English so it wouldn't lose meaning from Spanish?
I sometimes went like I tried very hard to make it like a 100% translation, but sometimes I had to adapt it a little bit more. And the thing is that because I'm the one writing in both languages, I didn't feel like some language had less of the story than the other. It's funny because I've sometimes been asked in which language do I write first, and it differs. It's just like I sit down and I know what I want to write, and I will just start writing in the language that flows. So sometimes it's Spanish, sometimes most of the time it's English. Because I find it easier to set the tone in English and then bring back the tone in Spanish. So most of the time is that. But it usually can be translated. Some phrases, like some sentences, are just too good in English to be translatable because I really like the passive voice in English. It works way too well in my brain. and it isn't that used in Spanish, so you have to find another way. Like for example, for me, one of the main things that are said in the show, which is a seal phrase, is it is dangerous to be touched. I think. No, to be touched is a dangerous thing. It doesn't work the same in Spanish. I could manage, but there are some things that just I don't know. But then again, for example, Bray is very interesting because I don't even know how, because I'm Spanish, I'm from Spain, and obviously there are a lot of different accents and a lot of different ways to speak Spanish because we colonize a lot, basically. And Matt is actually half yeah. Well, I have to say it. Like I'm from Spain. Like, yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
it is.
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah,
I won't know, lads.
Yeah.
I mean, even in Florida, obviously I'm not knowledgeable enough to really hear the differences, but I know that there are pronunciation differences between the way Central Americans speak, various countries, South America. I had a Peruvian friend, and she couldn't understand a lot of what times, like when some of her Puerto Rican classmates would speak compared to Central America, because the dialects and the way they pronounce things are so different. So that is it's kind of interesting to hear because you're from Spain, but it's knowing that there's even are there a lot of different accents even within Spain itself?
Oh yeah, there are a lot. Like I'm from the center. I'm from Madrid. We usually say we don't have an accent. We do. It's awful. And like when people want to make fun of. Yeah, when people want to make fun of people from Madrid, they just like talk really preppy and really posh. And well, I'm from south of Madrid, so that's a different accent. A little bit, like a little bit punkish. But yeah. And the thing is that Matt is half Mexican. And one of the things he pointed out in the script in Spanish is that he told me, you actually didn't write very Spaniard-like. Like there are some things here that are very Latine, like some expressions are not really like Spain centered. And I was like, I didn't know that. Like I just wrote as the character asked. So it's very funny that even in Spanish, Bray's freakingly chaotic. So that was really fun.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I know. In English, there's a new accent every 20 minutes or so, right? As you drive out, it's that different.
It's interesting saying like even like the south or the north of a city changes as well, because you get that definitely in London. But sorry, Paul, go on.
I just had a question there. So you kind of said already that the cast, you're friends with. Are you friends with? Not saying are you friends with all the cast, but like, you know all the cast before starting the show, or did you ask anybody like outside of that? But is it kind of like with the Green Horizon season 1? Was it just all your friends and friends of friends for the first season?
So, well, also for the first season, like this season, all the voice actors and actresses are trans. Like, there's no cis-het people.
That's sick. That's
awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that I really wanted to keep there. Like the only actress I didn't know and I met and did casting was Jade, plays Tess. But the rest are all friends of mine. The rest are just because I didn't like. I knew I wanted Violeta for Death later, so I couldn't use Violeta for Tess. So I just kept asking, like, do you know any trans girl, any trans woman who does voice acting? And then I did a little bit of a casting, and Tess and Jade came out, and it was like pretty wonderful. And we talked a lot about the relationship with Decca and Tess. I'm a bit sad that it's a bit of a small character, because then you have the whole pantheon and they eat the whole scenes, like they just appear and it's just like I want more of them,
Right, because we really only got Tess in the one episode from her for her voicemails to Deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted that because sorry, Paul. Like I really liked that episode because I wanted, like, you've only hear up to that point the story from Deck's point of view, and he's a dick. like the usual like the good and common response, and I'm sorry Aida because I know you're listening, to Deck is to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's awful, he's a prick, I don't like him, you know, like who would be lame enough to fall in love with him as like Seal. I'm sorry, Seal is a bit lame.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. Like I love Seal a little bit more than I love Tech, but they're just like silly for each other and they're stupid, and that's how it works. Like that's why they work. They're stupid
Yeah.
together.
You know what that reminds
So-
me of? Fucking oh my god. Movie with Michael Cera and hold on. It's like two terrible characters and they end up together.
Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
Pilgrim, no?
It's two horrible fucking characters. It is literally about
Yeah.
two terrible people and their
Yeah.
journey together. There's a little Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim-y vibe in that same kind of way then with Deck and Syl, because you're both describing them both as like lame and kind of a dick. And that's funny. Sorry.
Were they all, the other part of my question was, are they all fluent English speakers? Or did they have to go off and learn how to pronounce? They did such an amazing job. I can't imagine that they're not fluent. Like, I couldn't get a script in Spanish and be able to do that kind of performance without being able to speak the language, which I can't. Are they all fluent English speakers?
Well, I think the only one who will say he's not fluent, but I do believe he is. He just like doesn't practice as much. Is Luke, my boyfriend, and he was so scared. He was, and also like I have to like give it to them because I write in a really pedantic, complex, sometimes English. So it is often that when going through the script, like we will make a call, or because back then we called each other and we did, like for example, we didn't record at the same time, but I remember now that we did table reading with everyone. We tried to, like, people who will be in the same episode, like for example her, the 70, which is just Bray and Death. I will have Violeta and Matt and me like in the same call, maybe on Discord or whatever, and we will run it. And then like I think in every, maybe Violeta was the only one, but I think every actress just told me like, okay, can you pronounce this once again? And I was like, let's just see on Google, because I think sometimes I also pronounce it like the wrong way, so let's just check. So yeah, like I remember there was a word that Lucas Natura was struggling so much with that, and it became a joke when we were recording. Like it was just like, go babe, like you can have it this time. And he was like, I hate this fucking word. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
That's so funny.
So good. Would you pass it on to the cast from me? Like that, like I would have like happily. I've had you on Horizon. I'd happily have any of them on the show.
Yeah, same here.
So good. Their acting is phenomenal. Like, you know what I mean? I was never stuck for. I wasn't listening to them. Like, I didn't understand. I was never stuck for a word listening to that whole season. I knew what everyone was saying. So it was just like bravo to everyone involved and yourself. Like, just absolutely phenomenal job.
Yeah,
I will tell them.
It's like good to talk about the other people, but also David, your performance is incredible throughout.
Yes.
Like, you do such a fucking good job. It's so key that it's you as well. Do you know? I don't know. It's so important that it's your voice, and the way that you do it is like, yeah, so important.
I was talking to Matt via Telegram, and I was telling him, "Oh, we're listening when I die," and he was like, "You died so well." I was like, "Yeah, it was good death. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that because I think I did a few takes, and obviously like that scene, I think I recorded myself dying first, and then Mauri listened to that to respond as Seal. It was a trip. Yeah, that scene was really. I love that scene because you have the both of them being like really dramatic, like Deck is dying, and in the background you have Bray like, see, mother is coming, like there are things happening, and Silly's like, can you shut the fuck up, my boyfriend is dying.
Having a moment.
Yeah.
Having a moment here. Yeah.
Kai and I were talking a bit during one of the breaks on that same kind of subject of your performance, and specifically if there was a more serious or a more like a darker, gruffer voice, it almost come across like too serious, like taking itself too seriously. But the way you perform it and how Deck so much of the time is like so entertained with himself, and it's very interesting to hear how it shifts throughout the show, because when it first starts, it's him saying what he's doing, where he's going, recollecting his recalling events of his past and the things that kind of shaped where he is and where he's going, compared to a more kind of live action sequence, like when he's there with Bre and Death, and it's he's no longer acting, he's no longer telling a story, he's reacting. He's reacting. He's in the story. Yeah. And your performance is like, it goes to show that Deck doesn't really have it all together, and that Deck is trying so hard to have it together in the first like half or so. But as things are becoming more reactive, Deck's sad. Deck's fucked up. Deck's like really experiencing these things in a much more serious way, and I think it actually does humanize Dex quite a bit more as we get more context. Dex is less of a dick, and more of a sad human being, or whatever he is about to become. We don't know yet. We'll see. That's in season 2 shit.
Can we get a season 2? You don't have to say anything about plot, but can we get some sneaky kind of hints about what's going to happen in season 2, as much as you feel comfortable giving? I'm desperate to know.
I will probably tell the whole plot if we could. Okay, so I really like that you pointed out, Tony, that, because one of the things that I really like is that you can see how he breaks after Natura. Like, he's able to express, like, he doesn't really want to kill Seal. He just wants to see him again, you know? And when he is honest out loud of that desire that he has, you actually listen to him in the next episodes, and he's calmer, he's more chill, he laughs, he jokes, you know? That there's this moment when he makes a little joke, I don't know, I think it's in Reflection, and he just like you can it's like, oh, you're not like this dramatic being talking about, you know? No, it's like you're more human, and I really like that. And then he just loses it, you know? Like, Bray is following him, and he knows something really weird is like following him, so he's just like losing it all very quick. And I really like that people notice that, because I don't know, it's something that I actually like. I don't know, like, it wasn't like something that I thought I'm going to do this. As I wrote, it happened, and as I kept performing as Deck, it just happened. So it feels very organic, and it because it was organic.
That's awesome.
So yeah, season 2. Season 2 is very based in Spain. There's not gonna be that much of movement. Basically, we start 5 years after all this happened.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Oh my god, that's a lot.
Fuck yeah, I love a time skip.
It's so cool. 2025. Seal hasn't left Madrid. Sure. Seal has been in the same place for 5 years, has to have survived as a human for 5 years, because basically what Bre tells him in the last episode is that if you keep moving, we'll be able to keep tracing you. But if you stop, because the thing is that when like every god has their signature, like it's very faint, but when Bre appears, there's a moment when he says, "What does it smell like ozone?" You know, like when they move, there's a faint smell, and when Seal moves, it smells a little bit like wax and honey. So a good way to stop being able to look for him is that it's to stop moving in a god way, which is like basically appearing and reappearing as the fact they want, you know, because space and time, well, mostly space. So Brett tells him, you have to be like still.
Mm.
And that's what he does for 5 years.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah, while dealing with the fact that Deck is dead.
Mm.
I
It's gonna be so
just-
interesting following Syl like for this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm so
Deck is-
excited.
Deck is dead. But we know Deck is on the other side, and he's as stubborn as
Yeah.
as fuck. So will he be back? We don't know. That's the thing that I was gonna say at the beginning. Like, I'm really comfortable with season 2 because I don't have to act that much. And you're not gonna listen to me that
Put it on
much.
to someone else, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly Seal. Things that we can expect. Flashbacks about like Seal is gonna ponder a lot about how life was when he was born, and how like there's a lot of flashback-ish and a lot of scenes between the gods, because the dynamic in the pantheon is very like it's one of the plot points. We're gonna listen to Faye because we listen to Faye through Deck, and we will have an actor for Faye. We will have an actor for Life. Which is gonna be fucking amazing,
Which Life I
because
don't think was
hate-
actually named in the episode, just our mothers. So
Yeah.
so there's a death
They
and
never-
a life.
They almost never call her Life. They call her her, because Death is mother and Life is just her.
Sounds like a complicated familial relationship there.
It really is. And I just don't get me started on Naturambre, because one of the bad things of having your voice actors as your boyfriend and your friends and everything is that they will keep talking about the characters. And I like Naturambre have a really, really interesting relationship, but because Matt and Luke are very good friends and they're actually dating, we're poly, like queer people. It's really interesting because I love angst, so I just keep feeding them angst. Like this is going to happen, and this is, and because I have I have plot points like already, and when I remember that I told the two of them one, and Luke, which is my boyfriend, basically just stopped talking to me for a while, went away to cry, and at the same time Matt was like, I fucking love this, and I was like okay. So yeah, it's gonna be very intense. Yeah, and another thing that I really like about season 2, which takes a lot of time, and that's one thing that I'm a bit blocked, is that the animas thing is still there. And how has the world changed when there are like dead people who are more or less corporeal? And as you could see, it's like the piece is quite anti-capitalism, because I'm anti-capitalist, of course. So I had to think a few stuff about, what will capitalism do with a source of work that doesn't die? Yeah.
That sounds
that's
miserable.
interesting. It is. And
Yeah.
what does that mean for the living? That's still mid background, but it would be kind of important because it may be not that, I don't know, because sometimes for me things are like really like in the open, but I know I don't tell everything. But basically the reason that there are animas is obviously tied to the fact that Seal is not doing his work. So as long as Seal is hiding from the Pantheon and not doing his work, the animas keep coming, and that's a thing that we'll have to see in season 2.
Fuck yeah.
I'm very excited
and
to
one of
explore
my-
the animas. It's a very interesting concept.
That's so cool.
I have a side story actually, because some of them obviously decide not to participate in society, so they go to places where the living don't want to live anymore, which is a thing that we have here in Spain. Like we have something called La España Vaciada, which is like the I don't know how to translate it, like the forgotten Spain. It's like small towns, small villas where people just left for the cities, so there's no one living there.
Just real
Places that have
rural
been
kind of like places.
Mad.
Yeah,
like ghost towns and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect place for an anima to just be and chill. And
Oh.
there's a side story that I really like. That it's set on the coast, on one of the parts in Spain that is getting like really polluted because of tourism, blah blah blah. And Seal actually goes there up to some point on a bus because he cannot move as he wanted to, but on a bus. So there's like a lot of tiny things.
Where can we access that story?
I'm still writing it.
Um,
Yeah,
there is
it's in the
some bonus
making.
content on the Fasting
Yeah,
Nonsense
that was
Patreon.
me trying to be
Yeah.
clever.
there is
Intent.
actually there are like really cool things because there are like short stories from Dex past when he has like a gun for hire and everything. Like when he's dying, he mentions a really bad breakup, and obviously I made his ex-boyfriend, which is one of my favorite characters too. And it's in the short stories. And also there's like this special that I wrote during October that it doesn't look like that in the beginning, but it's basically a story that I wrote also to work out the dynamics in the Pantheon. It is like a horror story set in a house, which will be like a physical place for the Pantheon.
Yeah.
And like if you're really curious about life, everything that you have to know, it's there. Like, and also the whole dynamic because Seal is fucking terrified of Bray. And there's a reason. Like, imagine having Bray as your older sibling. Like, Seal is traumatized, to say
Yeah.
the least. Yeah, yeah, but that's one of the things. Yeah. So yeah, that's really funny. I just love the Pantheon so much. It's such an interesting name.
I'm
It's so
excited
cool.
to explore more because they mentioned other lesser gods too. So it'd be very interesting to see how the family expands. So
Did not expect when I first started. I didn't expect the level of depth. And like when I first started listening to it, I was alright. It's a bit of a chase show, a bit of this, bit of that, but like just
lore.
kind of you hit a point in the show where it just kind of goes boosh. Look at all this. There's so much to it. It's fantastic, and I love that. I love that you don't start out with all this. This is this is this is this. Look at this. It's like it's just really slowly. You know what I mean? Like you invest in the show, you just get the payoff then because then it just starts expanding. It's like whoa, so much into this. Like
yeah, you don't know
Yeah,
what the
like-
show is at first until you hit a certain point. Like I kept
Yeah.
swapping back between psychological, supernatural, psychological. Now I'm like, oh, mythological and psychological. Got it. Like the classification of the show kind of evolves until it settles in, and you're like, now I understand what's going on. It's really cool.
Yeah.
a puzzle. It's like a puzzle, but like and it just once you have the whole thing together, it's fantastic. Like a very well crafted season. Very well written.
There's
I
a
mean,
very great
it's still gonna go like in the horror sphere, I think. And one thing that for example, I talked about this with Paul, because one thing that we will touch a little bit that maybe I will not touch as deeply as I wanted because then it would be too much. But like Seal, oh, that's my alarm. Like Seal is the god of silence. The thing is that Seal only takes people who have been like a good way to explain the difference between what death does and what Seal does is that death works in wars and Seal deals with what happens after the war. You know?
Gotcha.
Like the
That's
people who are
interesting.
forgotten, the people who are marginalized, the people who are killed or murdered because of a lot of things like. So it's like he's like the god of the unheard, and
That's cool.
the silence.
That's awesome.
Basically, that came out like he's the main centerpiece. Like the whole story started with him. Because here in Spain we have the dictatorship and everything, and there we actually have a law that they passed when we transitioned to democracy, which is that they basically said it was better not to talk about what happened, and that
Wow.
everyone who was like a was imprisoned because of politics, or who torture or did things under the dictatorship, will just be like, okay, everyone's on the street, everyone is like forgiven for whatever they did, and we will not speak about this again. Basically, because they feared a second civil war, which I understand, but then it's like 40, 50 years have happened, and we still not talk about this, and there's still mass graves. Like, Deck talks about it in the show. Like, there are mass graves still in Spain.
That part.
There's a lot of families still that don't have like their dead buried properly. So I just kept thinking about this, and that's something that we're gonna touch a little bit in the second season because
that adds a lot more depth to Syl with that kind of And one thing I wrote is that you do a very good job of explaining a situation, even though like I, not from Spain, don't understand a lot of the cultural context. It is still written in a way that it paints this very this very detailed picture about where you are and why the things around you are happening. Like, was that Erasmus? The music in October or whatever, I think.
The Erasmus parties,
yeah. And so it's kind of just like painting this like very cultural, like I don't know anything about it, but you are painting it in a way that is helping me understand a bit more about the world that Deck is in. And it's really cool.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, this has been absolutely incredible. I went in with high expectations, and you already it crushed what I expected. So this was my first time listening, and it was I'm sure it was very interesting to hear me talk about like what I thought it was compared to what it was, because it's completely different. And that's not a criticism in any way. That's like amazing. I really enjoyed it. So kudos to you. You are quite incredible.
Oh. I just wish I could just write for a living, but it doesn't work that way.
One day. So. Hey, it could happen one day. You got the chops, right?
Yeah. The reason we don't have season 2 so far is basically because I have to pay rent, and I really like my day job. Like, I like it a lot, but yeah, I tend to do a lot of things at the same time.
Yeah.
But I have a really big I don't know how to say it. Like in Spanish it's corcho. It's like a board just with posits, and everything is like everything is there. Everything. I just have to sit down and write. And now that I'm focused on shorter episodes, I think maybe slowly I will do it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're always here if you ever need any assistance. We are the best feedback team in the world with FN. Yeah, and we adore you and love Dose After You. So congratulations again on an awesome season 1. I guess with that, Paul.
Yeah.
Any cool news? Anything you would like to share, say before we hop off?
Supposed to.
Very pointed question.
Is this about the thing?
No, nothing in particular. Anything you'd like to share? Just anything exciting going on? You want to talk about your show?
Listen to the Green Horizon.
Yeah.
Talk about how awesome Green Horizon is and tell people to go listen to it.
That's great. That's grand. That's grand. No, I'm writing season 4 now. I'm just on the second episode. I'm working on our actual play. Max Light actual play,
which Kai and I are in.
Working on sound design for that. So everything's exciting going forward, and I'm very grateful to be part of FN with such wonderful shows. Re-listening to Dose After You was proven to me again. I've already listened to it, but listening to it again has been like, we're among some very, very, very good shows on this network.
100%.
Yeah. And the best community possible.
As well. Yeah, so just brilliant. Great time.
Speaking of Chain of Being, Kai, tell us about Chain of Being. Recently finished up season 1 with our own party.
We did. We just had the season finale, which was very dramatic. Season 1, similarly, is a guy chasing a god, but in a very different way. So Yeah, it was a sort of long-term thing, and I'm currently working on season 2. I've sort of been writing that, and I've written a character that I've totally fallen in love with and I'm obsessed with. So isn't that just the writer's fucking thing, isn't it? Yeah, really excited for the direction I'm going to take it. Definitely going to be. It's already quite ambitious, but I want to take it more. I want to explore different parts of the world, so we'll get there. But for now, you can just listen to season 1. It gets very fucking weird towards the end, which I'm very happy with. I'm very passionate about sound, and I feel like that shows in the show. Yeah, you can listen to that. You know, it's a podcast. You listen to this, you know where to find podcasts. I won't hold your hand.
Listen to episodes 1 through 18, and then go watch the finale party with all of us where we're hanging out.
There we go.
Which we still need to finish and do the actual play part of that because
Oh fuck!
because the internet fucked up. We got through the finale, but the internet
We
fucked
did.
up right before the actual play part. So
I'm done with university now, so we can organize that, and it'll be fine.
hell yeah.
Yeah, can I say I had a 30th that night before final. I had to miss it. So if you're doing something else,
Yeah, I think we're doing an actual play as a sort of celebration kind of thing. So we will.
you had me at we. I want in. Let me- I don't know how to do. I don't know how to do. I want
If it's on
in.
the weekend, call me.
Yeah, we just,
Got it.
fuck yeah, yeah. I'm DMing. I'm running a DMing session of an RPG. So fucking more the merrier, because this game is mental. So
It is fun.
we'll get
It's called
used to
Shoot and Loot, or Loot and Shoot, Shoot and Loot, and it is.
Shoot and Loot, yeah.
It is a blast. It
I
is.
think we've actually have we played together, David? I think I ran a game. Was that, were you in that? I don't remember. Maybe it was just
No, I don't
Maybe it
think
was just
so.
Sam and Ando. Okay, either way.
Yeah, I
it's
wasn't
great.
there.
It's a
It's great.
blast.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play actual plays, but I'll do my best.
Honestly,
Do my best.
just be yourself, Paul. That's all we need. You
You'll
can
be
the
in a good
announcer.
company. So
Yeah, you can be the announcer
Be-
for the. It's a race, so
It's-
you can be the commentator.
Oh yeah. Surly Irishman.
oh, that'd be
yeah, there
great.
you go. Awesome.
And so, David, is there any last words you'd like to say? That was not a threat. I mean, about your show. Is there any? Now that we've listened back to season 1, how are you feeling? Is there any last things you want to say for the stream?
Any last words?
Any last words?
Any last words? Brave, you exist to marry me. No, I'm just like I'm still amazed at how like 2 years, and I know it's a really small show, and it's very niche. Like it's niche to find, you know. But I think once like any kind of people find it, they kind of really love it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like really grateful of it just being there, and also like I know I'm not the most active creator ever, but I'm really grateful for you, Tony, and for FN, because I wouldn't have made it this on my own because I don't have the time, I don't have the space. So just to be able to do this, it's pretty amazing, and thank you, Paul and Kai, to be here, because it just feels like we started. It's really funny because we have very different shows, but at the
Yeah.
same time they have kind of a similar energy, you know, like there's something there that
I feel like there's a
connects the
triple
three of
Venn
them.
diagram where we have sci-fi gods and sci-fi gods, and then they just come together.
yeah, yeah,
incredible.
yeah, totally. So
That's amazing.
It was really lovely to just like be 2 years of this and have
Yeah.
you two here.
Here's to many more as well. Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. So I will just not press myself about season 2, but it
Yeah.
will happen sooner or later. I know it would happen because I will not rest until I make it.
Fantastic.
And if it's not perfect, I will keep writing, so that's okay. Like you think that I'm not a perfectionist. So yeah. So thank you very much. It was such a fun night. And thank you for everyone who was listening, who will be listening later. And I don't know, just like I really, really want to talk about season 2 and show you everything because there are super interesting things. I think like if I do it at least at half of what I'm thinking, it's gonna be like really
yeah.
awesome because I don't know, already the people who work on it are awesome. So it's gonna be a really good blast.
To finish up, can you say the line that you say at the end of every episode?
Oh,
Please.
fuck, how was it? Like, like
Record
and
yourself.
remember, record yourself. Seal might be listening.
Yeah, he said the thing. He said the thing.
He said the thing. He said the thing. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching.
Amazing.
You can find Paul at Green Horizon Pod on Twitter. You can find Kai at My Name Is Not Kai, and that's Kai with a C because he's Welsh. Or you can follow the show at. Is it just at Chain of Being?
I managed to get Chain of Being, so yeah, just
Incredible.
at Chain of Being.
At
Yeah,
Chain
that's
of
it.
Being.
Yeah.
You can find David at Dose After You, or at The Devoured. And wait, is it? It is just Dose After You.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You all got like the perfect name for your podcast. And yeah, we hope to see you at the next event. We try to run these as often as we can because we have lots of shows, lots of talent, and can't wait to see you all next time.
Fuck yeah.
Bye.
Ta-da. Bye.
Bye.